I gotta warm up my Rob Zombie voice first.
Hey, yeah, we're the one that you wanted. Hey, yeah, we're dead and lovely.
How's that?
It's fucking perfect.
I think it sounded just like him.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, like if Cookie Monster cleared his throat.
Let me try again. Yeah. Welcome, dead and lovely listeners, to your absolute
Good
favorite
transition.
horror movie review podcast in this universe and beyond. Why, it's dead and lovely here with the host, with the absolute most. It's me, your best friend. It's Uncle Ben.
And the host with mini Hollywood Steve.
Oh, Hollywood Steve.
I don't have the most. I don't even have more. But I got many.
Oh, yeah, I got a handful. Couple, two, three.
Couple,
The host
two,
with
three.
a couple, two, three. I ain't got the most, but I got what I need. There's a couple, two, three. A couple, two, three.
That's exactly right.
I'll tell you what, Steve, it's getting hot all over here in the Dollywood Hills.
It is warming up.
It's getting a little warm.
It's nice. My dog is loving it.
I'm okay with that.
Me too.
I'm very okay with that.
Yeah.
You're typically more of a cold weatherman yourself,
Well,
right?
okay. I like summer probably the best. It's just that I sweat in the winter. So the
you
summer,
got the old winter sweat.
yeah. So in the summer, I'm just drenched, and my car doesn't have air conditioning. I found out. So
Do you think winter sweat could tour with Dead Dad?
winter sweat.
Winter sweats.
That's how it sounds too. Where it's just like a bunch of noise with some double bass.
Yeah, pretty sure. And something about Satan, probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you not got the AC, so you're running that 240 air conditioning, huh?
Uh-huh.
Your winter's down at 40 miles per hour, huh?
It sucks. Honestly, I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
had
not
to do
good.
it in a long time when you're driving on the interstate with windows down.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
The problems that I have are twofold.
What's that?
There's the long hair problem.
Yeah.
I
My
end up-
hair is all over the place.
I end up choking down a lot of hairs down the old guzzle. That's
Or
no good.
Just getting straight. My glasses will get so greasy because my hair just keeps getting blown all over my
Oh, yeah?
glasses. Yeah.
Got the old blow over there.
The
huh?
blow over.
And also too, it's makes it really hard to listen to podcasts or,
Right.
or isolated guitar tracks as you roll down the road.
Exactly. It's the worst.
I'm telling you, the amount of time that I spend listening to isolated like guitar tracks, bass track. I've talked about this before. I listen to that shit while like I run
Yeah.
and jog and stuff, but also while I drive down the road. I'm like, let's hear what just the guitar on Sweet Emotion sounds like.
I could barely hear Ben when the radio twice played Lil Nas X's Horses in the Back or whatever it's fucking called. Twice on my way down here. It's a 40-minute drive.
And they played it two
twice.
times.
It was playing when I got in my car, and it was playing when I got off the exit to come here.
Why?
I don't know. It's like legit one of the only songs where because I don't have a CD player or anything.
Yeah.
It's just radio. It's one of the only
Jesus.
songs where I'm like, I'll just turn it all the way down and hope I catch the next song. Like it's that or maybe some Post Malone, like where I'm just like, I don't want to hear this. But Post Malone, at least it's just like, whatever. I'll just turn it down a little bit.
Yeah.
With that, I'm like, fuck, jeez. This is the third episode in a row.
Yeah,
where I'm
you
talking
talked
about how
about
much
that
I hate
fucking
this
song.
fucking song.
Holy shit.
People love that song though.
You need to put yourself on some 103.5 and just soak up that classic,
Classic rock.
dude. Get at least 3 AC/DC
Why?
songs in on the way over.
I prefer to listen to hip hop when I drive.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because, I don't know. Most hip hop that's on the radio nowadays is, pretty low key on the beat.
Yeah.
And it kind of keeps me calm. Whereas if I listen to something like driving, I get more, aggressive while I'm driving.
Not a lot of rain and blood in your car, for example.
Right. Yeah. I remember driving to Walter State back in the day when we went to Walter State together and
Yeah.
listening to Dillinger Escape Plan and shit. And
Oh,
just
shit, yeah.
weaving in and out of traffic and shit. I wasn't in a hurry. It's just the music had me convinced I was.
That Dillinger will get you to put the hammer down.
Hell yeah.
I'll tell you that, man.
Yeah, well.
Cry all right, bloodshot.
You ever listen to any Rob Zombie on your commutes?
I actually have never gotten into Rob Zombie's solo stuff.
Yeah.
But I was a huge White Zombie. White
I think
Zombie.
everybody was. Yeah.
White Zombie was what transitioned me from mostly being into punk to really getting into metal.
Huh.
Yeah, it was
Sexorcisto. Yeah.
Because Thunder Kiss 65 was on Beavis and Butthead. The episode Yogurt's Cool. And I remember seeing it and being like, that is a cool video. Because Beavis and Butthead was like a great source for new music.
That's the thing. Yeah. They were kind of like sneaking the vegetables in on the airplane of like, here's some bands you should probably check out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like, and they actually, I remember, because they would always, rip on shit. But that White Zombie video, they were like, this is cool. Like they were like way into it.
Yeah.
And I remember getting that, and then whenever, what's the next one? Super Beat or
Astro Creep 2000.
Astro Creep 2000. Man, that album just fucking
kicked out the
so
jams.
awesome. Yeah, because like after White Zombie, I got into like Marilyn Manson, and I guess I got into a bunch of industrial too, like Ministry and Nine Inch Nails. But
side note, I found a guy on Facebook the other day named Marlon Mason. He's the most unassuming looking guy. And because I'm just a fucking idiot, like I screenshotted this guy and I sent it to like all my friends, and I'm like, my mom told me he made satanic music when I was a kid. Marlon Mason. And I found it very amusing.
That's hilarious.
Marlon Mason. So that kind of, I got you to transition over into some of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing about like White Zombie is, it was never just straight metal. Like there were these like electronic influences.
Yeah, it is closer to Ministry, I would say, than it is to say
close
Metallica.
To an industrial or something like that. Yeah. Well, I was listening. What made me kind of think of this is I was jogging yesterday, and I was really just trying to muster up some good like shit talk about this movie and Rob Zombie and stuff. So I'm like, I'm gonna put on fucking all these old
Hellbilly
Rob Zombie.
Deluxe.
And like More Human Than Human by White Zombie and stuff. And I was like, this is going to suck, right? And I put it on, and I'm like, this doesn't suck at all. Holy shit. Like, the thing is whenever you listen to More Human Than Human,
that's such a great song.
It's fucking awesome. It's still fucking awesome.
It's so fucking good,
The production on it is colossal. Like, the low end and just the bass and the drums and the low end of the drums and stuff, and the low end of all that synthesizer and stuff is gigantic. And it's almost put together like a fucking James Brown mix. Like, if you listen to that on headphones... there is a track of tambourine in each ear.
Really?
Yeah, there's just two tambourines shaking in both ears. And it's like, when you think fucking metal, tambourine isn't really on the menu, but it makes it groove so nasty. It's that same effect that you hear in, like Sad But True by Metallica.
Yes.
Like, widely regarded, one of the heaviest Metallica songs ever. But there's all kinds of like cassava and shaker and like tambourine and shit all over that song. There's
Lars
something
was
about,
going crazy, huh?
Oh yeah, just
he was like, I haven't
gotten
gotten into buying paintings yet, so
tambourines and
you remember
cassavas.
that? I know I've talked about this before. You remember that in the documentary where he was at that auction buying the painting, and he got the painting, and then he was like, I am wiped out.
Oh, he was like, dude, it was beyond that.
I want you to die.
He was selling his art.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
You're talking about some kind of monster, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's where he's like selling some of his work and stuff. Just...
I'm wiped out.
God, I love Metallica.
Wiped out from other people buying your art. Yeah, it's probably fucking
making all this
draining.
money. It's exhausting. But yeah, like I wanted to talk shit about that stuff, but I found myself listening to like Super Beast and being like, God, this is awesome. Like the guitar tone, the hooks and everything. They're fucking great.
Here's the thing people need to like, because we all think of Rob Zombie as this metal dude.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie is an artist who got lumped into metal.
Yeah.
Like, he started at the Parsons School of Design in New York.
No shit.
Yeah. He and Sean Isolt, his bass player and girlfriend, were both at Parsons and started an art band called White Zombie.
The chick that played bass in White Zombie.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So they didn't start as metal. They weren't part of this like deep metal scene. They were part of this artist scene.
Well, that's the same with Gwar. Gwar is a bunch of fucking art students. Yeah.
And then when they moved to LA, this is kind of when they sort of started to kick off. They made the video for Thunder Kiss 65. Yeah, they made that video, and that kind of like launched them.
Yeah.
At the time when they moved to LA, he and Sean Isolt were working as production assistants on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Yes.
Rob Zombie used to work on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yes, he is one. I'm just want to list some people who worked on Pee-wee's Playhouse that need to be recognized. Phil Hartman, got his start basically on Pee-wee's
Yeah,
Playhouse.
holy shit, that's right. He
Lawrence
was on there.
Fishburne, Cowboy Curtis. He
Morpheus.
had done some stuff before, but that was like his big role up to that point.
Oh, yeah.
Esipatha Murkerson, who played the palm reader in Jacob's Ladder and also in 400 episodes of Law & Order, started on...
Dude, and now I remember her. Now that you mention her, I totally fucking remember all these people on here.
She was the post office lady, wasn't she?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Natasha Lyonne.
Who's Natasha Lyonne?
Natasha Lyonne from Orange is the New Black and Russian Doll.
Oh, shit. Wait, she's on the show?
She was a little kid on the show.
No way.
And
she's awesome.
Straight up, R.I.P., John Singleton got his start on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
He just died, right?
Just died, yeah.
Guy that did Boys in Hood.
Yes. Got his start on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Along with Rob Zombie.
Along with Rob Zombie and Shiny Assault of White Zombie.
Weird. Just the fact that you could walk onto that soundstage and shake hands with all these people that would become like mega legends.
Right. And at that time, we're just like struggling. Had no idea. Like, first off, probably thinking, I'm working on this kid's show. It's never going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
But,
dude,
it did. I mean,
that's
Pee-wee's Playhouse was huge for like 8 years. Until he got caught jerking off in one place that everybody's supposed to jerk off.
I kind of think everybody jerks off in a porn theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So dumb, man. That's crazy. So do you think like the whole kind of inception of White Zombie, do you think that it kind of became, it was a band so that they could make music videos, they could make the visual art? Or do you think the
videos became a big thing for him. He made all the video, like he's responsible for the White Zombie videos.
And the Rob Zombie videos like Super Beast and Dragula and all that stuff are awesome. Fucking awesome. He also
did the hallucination animation scene in Beavis and Butthead Do America.
I've never seen Do America.
What?
I know.
I saw that in the theaters. I was so excited for it.
I lived through the 90s. Yeah. I have never seen it.
Beavis and Butthead was so great.
I was totally not allowed to watch that stuff when I was a kid. I'd watch it when mom wasn't home.
Yeah.
But I was totally not allowed to watch that stuff. I remember being a kid and watching Beavis and Butthead and seeing gore.
Yeah.
Like when they had gore and it showed like the big worm like eating that guy and stuff. And just having no fucking clue but being like terrified at what was going on.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was like, oh, dear. Oh, bother, I said. I was Winnie the Pooh as a child.
I imagine Beavis and Butthead doesn't hold up, but
probably not.
Back in the day, man,
Frog Baseball.
It was such a great show. Yeah. I mean, it spawned King of the Hill, which is legit one of the best long-running adult animation shows out there. Yeah,
dang man,
so cool. Anyway, but like, I wanted to talk a little bit about Rob Zombie just because, like, I'm kind of wondering at this point why it is every time he makes a movie, people are already mad at him.
It does kind of seem that way.
They were mad at him before Halloween.
Right, yeah.
Like, is it one of those things where he's double dipping? Where it's just like, no, you can't be a successful musician and successful director.
Choose one.
Like, I just don't get why people hate. Like, I understand. Yes, he had a foot in the door because he was a musician. So, yeah, he probably got to direct this movie before he was necessarily ready to direct a movie.
Yeah, he kind of had a leg up on the whole, like, there's probably a lot of people out there that were like, I could make a better movie than that.
Right,
and
I went to film school. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, he got to make a movie because he's already famous from White Zombie.
But he didn't get to make a movie because of that. He got to make a movie because he made a haunted house attraction for Universal Studios that reinvigorated their Halloween Horror Nights,
which is now like a huge.
It's gigantic.
Thing. Yeah.
In LA, seriously, around the time it's about to be October. And all throughout October, you're going to see advertisements everywhere. And you will still see Halloween Horror Nights advertisements throughout the year where it's just like, get ready. You might want to get your tickets quick because everybody's going to fucking go.
Yeah.
And he's responsible with his attraction for reinvigorating it. And so Universal Studios said, what do you want to do?
So you're saying that basically all these like mega ultra elitist hardcore horror nerds that love that shit can turn around and say, thanks, Rob Zombie.
Yes.
Thanks, Bobby Zed.
Yeah. Thanks, Robert Zombert. It's his full name. Bobby Zed, of course.
The UK edition.
UK moniker.
UK edition. That's crazy. I had no idea that he did that stuff. That was what reinvigorated Halloween Horror Nights, which is now just an institution.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, it's huge all throughout LA. Like, just haunted stuff during Halloween because you got all these special effects people that want to show off. But, like, he's kind of the reason why that is because he created this opportunity for all these cool things to be shown off because he's an artist. And again,
Obviously,
he
yeah.
didn't get hired to direct the movie because he was a musician. He got hired to direct a movie because he got into the office. So many people who never get into an office to pitch anything are just, they think it's such this mysterious moment of like, you're sitting in this dark room in front of this huge group of old white men who all determine your career.
Yeah, and they're like, so you get to make a movie now.
When really you're sitting down with an executive who's like, I really need some fucking titles to get out soon,
You
or
got
I'm going to be
anything?
fired. What do you have? Because you're in front of me right now.
Right, yeah.
So he just took his opportunity and said, I have this idea. And what it was his idea for the next Halloween horror night for a haunted house called House of a Thousand Corpses. But because they asked him what he wanted to do, he was just like, I have this idea for a movie called House of a Thousand Corpses. And then started describing basically ideas he had for the haunted house, and they bought it. It's not his fault that he was in the room and got the opportunity. So again, don't know why people hate Rob Zombie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is kind of cool. And you know, I have to admit, like, I'm totally guilty of it too.
Yeah.
I'm totally guilty of jumping on the, like, fuck all this guy's movies train.
Yeah.
He has made some shit. And I'll talk about
Well,
one
yeah,
of them
we're
in a
going to talk
second.
about his filmography for sure. But
Yeah. I mean, he has made some bullshit, but
so have a lot of people.
So have a lot of fucking
we let it slide because it's like, well, that was your chosen career, was to go into directing, and so you might make some shit, but you'll make some good stuff. But
well, and ultimately he's clearly somebody that loves the genre of horror. Like, even if you don't like the work, I say the same thing about people that like don't like Joe Bonamassa. Like, it's kind of cool among guitar players to talk shit about Bonamassa,
right?
Because he's like mega famous and has $1 billion and shit. But the guy fucking loves guitar. You know, and it's like, you don't have to like the music. You don't have to like Rob Zombie's movies. But at the same time, a rising tide raises all ships.
Yes.
You should be happy that this many people are buying tickets to see a guitar player. That's good for all guitar players.
It really is.
You should be happy
people are
that
into guitar players. Your band, you're in a band, you're a guitar
chance,
player.
dude.
They're interested in you.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're showing good technique, they know good technique.
Yeah.
They're like, this band is great because that
helps you out.
guitarist is awesome.
Yeah. And the same with the Rob Zombie horror stuff, where it's like, do I love all these movies? No. Do I love that people are going out in droves and spending millions of dollars to watch horror movies in theaters that are widely distributed?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yes, of course I do. That's good for the entire state of horror.
Yeah.
You know? But I gotta admit, don't like a lot of his flicks.
Yeah.
Don't like a lot of flicks. And I watched one of them this week, Steve.
You did.
I did. And I didn't enjoy it.
I also hate it.
I'm talking about a 31.
Yeah, I hate it.
I watched it last night.
I think it's his worst movie by far.
It's just absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
it is
it's real
absolute
bad.
dog shit. Like, it kind of crossed my mind last night. Okay, somebody in the Facebook group had posted that they had just watched it, and it was just unbelievably bad. I can't remember who it was that posted it.
It was Grimes, who I'm still going to defeat in a Hell in a Cell match.
Oh, obviously, of course.
He had mentioned that he hates Lords of Salem.
Oh.
And then somebody in the comments mentioned 31 was fucking dog
That's
shit.
what it was. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't know anybody who likes this
I don't know
movie.
anyone who's enjoyed it. No. So last night, Kate was like, "Oh, I'm going to go upstairs and wash my face, put on pajamas and stuff. I'll be back in 10 minutes or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll put on this 31 just to see how horrible it is." And so she went upstairs and she like washed her face and stuff. She sent me a text. She's like, "Actually, I think I'm just going to stay up here and go to bed." So I was like, "Well, I'm practicing guitar. I'll just leave this movie playing." God damn, it's just awful.
Yeah.
It is just horrible.
It's low rent running man with only despicable characters.
Yeah.
That it's just like watching people you hate die at the hands of other people you hate. So it's like
a waste of time.
It's like, oh boy, that person I hate died. Oh, but that person I hate killed him. So it's just like you're right in the middle where you're like, I don't care.
Yeah, I started at 0.
Yeah.
This person died, still at 0. They killed this person, still nothing.
Still nothing, yeah.
Don't care.
Just at no point do you care. And like the guy who's like the final guy,
Yeah.
He's supposed to be like
Doomhead.
he's supposed to be a badass. So it's, at no point do I buy that.
No,
At
dude,
no
none,
point am I
none of
scared
these
of him.
fucking people are badasses.
No.
None of like these hardcore killers and shit
Right.
that they roll out to kill these just normal ass people. They get dispatched so easily and so like it's just like, oh, somebody snuck up behind him and fucking clocked him.
Yep.
Easy. And they give him all these opportunities to like run away.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, you got 20 minutes, run away and I'll come find you.
I mean,
Why?
this is why he does need some middlemen, because
Yes.
the 31 was crowdfunded, so
Yes.
he didn't have anyone to answer to.
Nope. And dude, that is exactly something that I'll say about 1,000 Corpses too.
Yeah.
He needs a no man standing around.
Yep.
We've seen what happens when people that even have like prolific creative minds have no one to tell them no. This is how you get the Clone Wars. When there's somebody there to tell you, no, George, that's a bad idea, that's how you get a New Hope.
George, we shouldn't make the entire thing green screen.
Oh my God, dude. But it's like you see with a lot of these types, it's like when there's nobody there putting limits on it, saying that's not in the budget or that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Man, dude, they can't all be shiners. They can't all be shiners. And I mean, I think that's... I'm not just picking on them. I think it's very common of every person.
Yes.
That every idea you have can't be fucking gold.
You need people along the way to take what you think is this wonderfully ornate, beautiful thing and make it accessible to everyone.
Yeah.
Because
or at least its best form.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can make an art film, that's fine. But if you have a $12 million budget, people are expecting something in return.
Yeah. And
they want people to see it.
It made, I think, $800,000.
Yeah.
I mean, just a huge fucking bath. I'll tell you, one of the things about it that I just could not fucking stand was just how juvenile and vulgar and stupid it was. And I don't mean that in a brutish way. I mean,
no, that's
just,
exactly what it is.
Based on my language, I've already put an R rating on this podcast.
Right.
I'm not a prude or anything. But when it's just so obviously written, like, it reminded me of what it would be like if there was like a 14-year-old boy who was writing a script and he was like, my mom's gonna be so mad if she ever read this.
What if she finds out about my Hispanic little person Hitler?
Yeah, oh, she'll be so mad. Fuck you, Mom.
Fuck you, Ma.
And the dialogue is just so unbelievably
It's real bad.
juvenile.
It's like the worst dialogue of any of his movies for sure. And
it's horrible.
I actually don't think a lot of people think he's really bad at dialogue. I don't think he's as bad at dialogue as he is at writing a sentence that can be easily said by someone who's not a good actor.
But this, I mean, the stuff in 31 is like guys being like, you picked the wrong dog dick to fuck with, shit nipples.
Titties and boobies and shit dicks.
Murder school's in session, monkey ass. It's just like, this doesn't even make sense. Shit nipples?
Murder school's in session.
I'm gonna fuck your nipple holes.
Yeah.
Like, it's just garbage.
Actually,
fucking dialogue.
I was looking for those because those are the lines I sort of think of when I think of like real bad zombie lines. I was looking for them in this, and I don't think this movie has.
In 1,000?
Yeah, I don't think House of 1,000 Corpses has many lines where it's like nobody would say that.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a little more natural too. I think a lot of it may have been. I mean, because especially the stuff, the interstitial, like grainy stuff that's obviously shot on like a home camera.
Right.
That seems improvised and stuff. And a lot of Otis's dialogue seems like he probably was just going off in a Manson style.
Yeah.
And they were taping it.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think maybe this one, because some of it's more improv, it seems more natural.
Yeah, definitely.
Than a lot of his 31, for instance.
It's just fucking terrible.
Terrible, yeah.
I mean, it is seriously like he watched The Running Man and was like, I would love to have made this movie. And then he watched Saw and he was like, I think people like this kind of thing.
So
maybe
put 'em
nobody will
together.
notice.
Yeah.
If I put these things together. God, I hated it. I will say, which is a common thing among zombie movies, visually it had some cool stuff in there.
He's real good, yeah. Like
There's some aesthetically cool stuff in there.
His aesthetic is great. I think obviously there are a lot of directorial choices he made in this and editorial choices that are just but he gets better and better. I mean, honestly, he goes from this to Devil's Rejects, and Devil's Rejects is gorgeous.
I love Devil's Rejects.
Yeah,
and it looks
such a great movie.
Yeah, I think that it's awesome. So, I mean, one complaint you can't have is that the stuff doesn't look good. I mean,
sure,
it looks like a badass music video.
Yeah, you might not
all
like the
time.
aesthetic, but it's definitely there.
Definitely looks good. So I hated 31 so bad. Did you watch anything this week that you liked?
I didn't really watch a lot, but Comedy Bang Bang released their 10th anniversary episode just this week, and it is 10 hours long, Ben.
That's a very, very long show.
Yeah.
It's a big show.
It's a big old show tonight.
That is a long ass cast.
It really is.
What do they talk about?
Well, I mean, it's Comedy Bang Bang, so the general premise is that
Yucky jokes. Yucks.
they have people come in and play characters, and normally on a Comedy Bang Bang anniversary episode, he just sends out the invite to anybody who's been on the show and says, "Hey, we're going to be recording the anniversary show at this time. Drop by." And it'll get big. They'll have like 15, 20 characters in an episode or something, and it's just like crazy. But for this, he does like 1 to 3 people at a time for about 30 minutes. And so it never gets tired. Because it could easily, for 10 hours, having the same people talking.
Yeah, 10 hours of cave pedo.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what the problem would be with that. You guys want to come in my cave, watch the movies?
No, none of that. Absolutely
I got
not.
Movies
No,
your parents
sir.
won't let you watch.
I'm not interested at all. I would like to move away from
You
this.
want to try some of my meals?
Certainly not. Absolutely not. I'm leaving now.
Dr. Conrad Murray.
But was it the same?
Caveman pedo guy has Dr. Conrad Murray, who's Michael Jackson's doctor.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Jesus juice.
Anyway, but
So was it the main dude did 10 hours straight?
Yeah, Scott Aukerman, he's... I imagine they took breaks. Well, I think because he does Comedy Bang Bang every week. He also has guest appearances and stuff, and he does a show called You Talking You Two to Me. Well, no, now it's Are You Talking REMRE Me with Adam Scott.
Okay,
like he I think he goes into the studio and normally does like a full day where he just records, and then goes home.
Right.
So for him, it's just a little extra.
An 8-hour day.
Yeah,
that's just a little bit more.
Yeah. So it's great though. I mean, he's
awesome.
Like everybody, like Paul F. Tompkins, Nick Kroll, tons of people that have been on the show for the past 10 years are all there. Jason Mantzoukas.
Yeah.
The big names you'd expect. Yeah, exactly. So I've been listening to that. I think I still have 3 hours left.
God damn, dude. That's intense. I got to check it out.
But other than that, I've just been staying off the internet, Ben. Because my wife couldn't go see Endgame on Friday night.
Damn, wife.
And she had to work on Sunday, so I couldn't watch Game of Thrones.
So you were just heading to the hills to stay away from these damn spoilers.
Since Thursday afternoon, have been limiting any social media, I didn't go on Reddit or anything because I knew everything would be blown. I've just been limiting myself completely.
Yeah, you have to. You have to, dude. The way that people fucking spoil stuff, I really thought that people would be tired of it by now.
Yeah, I don't get it. What's the fun in it?
I have never once in my life been like, you know what I should do? Tell everybody how this ends. Yeah. I had fun when it happened to me and I saw it. So I should take that away from other people. Don't be a fucking shit-heeled dick, people.
Yeah,
don't do that shit.
It's stupid.
It's not funny.
In general. It's not fun. Well, of course it's not funny.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's an entire segment of humor that, in quotes, that tons of people are involved in on the internet and in pranks and things like that, where it's like, see, I've devastated someone else. I've ruined their life. See how funny this is? I have an effect on people, and I just realized it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I really pwned them libs. It's that kind of thing.
It really is that thing, though, where it's just like, especially for quiet people who grow up quiet and don't seem to have an effect on people around them, when they get on the internet and realize I can say the N-word, or I can like start going off on this, and
tell
I
people
actually
they suck at
affect
guitar.
people, and they have to talk back to me.
Right.
Even though the things they're saying back to me are things that obviously they're frustrated, I'm at least getting some interaction.
Well, that's ultimately like the big demise of so much goodness of humanity that we see on the internet. It was when people figure out they're addicted to getting attention, and it's easier to get attention by pissing on the rug than being a good dog.
It really is.
You know? And so I have seen so many people. It
can lead you to the presidency. Fuck you if you don't
dream.
like it. It really, like that is it. It'll lead you to the presidency, and it's just a straight up where it's like, oh my God, this is the world we live in where you seriously, like, you can find a way to piss your way up the ladder.
Piss your way up. That's exactly it. Yeah, I love this guy because he pisses off the people I don't like.
Fuck that.
Fuck me, dude. And that's
then they hear us say fuck Trump, and they're like, "Oh, what you guys
don't talk bad about Orange
Don't
Man.
talk bad about my favorite Orange Man.
You damn snowflakes are so mean.
You snowflakes.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Just take for a second and imagine the world that we live in, where we have to be surrounded. We're here in the South.
Yeah, but
we're
sometimes-
surrounded by people that love this fucking guy.
Sometimes my life is hard.
Big fucking deal.
Exactly.
Big fucking deal.
Yeah. Everybody's life is hard. Maybe recognize it and realize we all need to work together to fix that.
That'd be great.
Instead of working against each other constantly.
I'll drink a co-beer to
Hell
that,
yeah.
Steve. Steve, I'm excited to share this co-beer with you
I am
here.
too, because I haven't had this one.
So I beer cheated on you. I found 3 of these at the market the other day, and I was like grabbing 2 for the show and 1 for me tonight.
Hey, buddy.
Because we've been looking for a Lagunitas
you've had
Mazango.
spoilers.
I've had spoilers. Spoiler alert, it's really good. This is the Lagunitas 2018 one-hitter series Mazango, a mosaic hopped ale. That's hard to say. Brewed with mango juice, 7.7 ABV, and it is so fucking good.
That is
dude.
well-hydrated morning pee.
Yep, that's exactly what it looks like.
That's what that is, where it's a little darker,
Clear
than
and pissy.
normal pee, but it's still pretty fucking clear.
And my pee always has a good frothy head on it like that too.
What causes that when you do get that? Is that like some chemical maybe? Because like
chemical
sometimes
reaction.
you pee in somebody's toilet and it's like, why is this foaming?
It's true. That does happen sometimes. I wonder if that was just me.
Yeah, no,
It's not just me.
I hope it's their toilet and not my pee.
Get you a pull of that and see what that does to you.
It smells light.
It's super juicy and very mango heavy.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that good?
Oh man.
Perfect for a warm day like this.
That's almost as good as a Mike's Hard Lemonade. Mango.
It sure is getting there, buddy. It's just about there. They're working on it.
That is really good. Like that is
insanely drinkable. Like you could crush a ton of those.
Yes.
Way,
What's
way.
the ABV on that?
7.7.
Oh no! So it would be dangerous too.
And it doesn't
because
taste.
you don't taste alcohol at all.
No, not at all. It just
it's
has
just like
nice,
a watered
juicy,
down mango sort of hop.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
not
taste-
terribly hoppy.
Yeah,
it's
you
there,
can taste
but
a little bit of that. Just a little resininess,
Yep.
maybe, but it's mostly just mango and delicious.
Isn't it good? Mm-hmm. Did not disappoint.
No.
And that's the thing is like I'd like to raise a toast to the most epic entertainment weekend we've
Seriously.
ever had. We're not going to go deep and talk about this
Oh,
stuff.
no, yeah,
we're
we're
not going
not-
to spoil it.
we just
after we
said,
just ranted
yeah.
about spoilers. We just experienced the Game of Thrones mega ultra battle.
Wow. It was
Unreal.
mega ultra, and 3 more episodes to go.
Yeah.
At least 1 more battle to go.
Yeah.
Fucking insane.
It's going to be severe. It's
Yeah,
going to be severe.
it is.
Dude, that episode that we just watched, I
was loved
was
it.
seriously holding my breath for like
Yep.
90 minutes.
Yep.
I could not believe it.
Yeah.
All the imagery and stuff, the way that we got to spend time with so many characters and see so many great moments.
And of course, the climax. My mind has never went from oh no to oh yeah, so quick.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, because seriously, like the sense of hopelessness in this episode, I can't overestimate.
Yeah.
It was absolutely
And
dire.
if you think I just spoiled something, let me tell you, they don't have 3 more episodes of the season after everybody dies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously, you knew somebody.
Obviously, there are
going
going to be a ton of deaths, but like something's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've seen shows before, right?
Right.
You've heard stories, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unreal. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's really one of those things that is one of the biggest achievements in cinematic fucking history.
Loved it. And like it really does it is something that you could go to a movie theater and watch. Like it's an hour and 22 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And it is intense
I would love to see it on a big screen. If I could go see this like on a huge screen, I would fucking love it.
I bet it would look great, honestly, because it was a little dark on TVs, but like with a projector, that would look great.
I saw a lot of people complaining about how dark that it was.
I liked it.
I mean, it was really dark, but it's like, to me, it just lended to the sense of absolute chaos.
That's how you would feel if you were there.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't be able to see everything that's going on.
No, when you're fighting like an innumerable army, and there's people falling and fighting all around you, and there's like ash falling from the sky and all kinds of shit.
It would be like
Probably
complaining if you were complaining during the Battle of Bastards, where there's just that camera that's under all the people.
Yeah,
like, I couldn't see anything.
I couldn't see the horses good.
That's how you're supposed to feel, like you're suffocating.
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah, in Battle of the Bastards, it was like you felt like you were in the middle of that fucking mosh pit of a battle. And that's what this felt like to me, too.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how things
I loved how they kept
out,
transitioning, too, from different parts of the battle. Like, they did a great job. So, that Game of Thrones episode.
And there's some, good horror elements in there, too.
Yes,
I'm not going to spoil what I'm talking about here, but...
Well, I mean, again, you know that the White Walkers are horrific.
They're fucking zombies.
They're zombies.
Yeah, there's zombies in there, dude. So there were some great horror elements and stuff in there, too. Soundtrack was sick.
Yeah,
soundtrack was baller, dude.
About midway through that musical section where it just like, god damn, it was so perfect.
I know. It's amazing. It's one of those things where I'm really thinking back about all the previous seasons and how long I've been watching this show, and kind of coming to terms with the fact that like in 3 weeks this story will be concluded.
But I think we both have had this experience because you guys have you rewatched it, or are you still in the middle of that? Or
so we finished watching through. We kind of jumped around. We did seasons 1, 2, 3, 4. We skipped 5, 6. We watched 7.
Okay,
5, 6 are kind of trivial. I'd still like to rewatch them though. Honestly,
I think 5, 6 are a lot of setup and payoff for earlier stuff. I've been rewatching it too, and I had just rewatched an episode. And in the episode, something is said that's foreshadowing, and I was like, wait, they've not paid on that. Like, that's not come back yet. And I was like, wait, that's coming back.
Yeah, dude.
And then it fucking did in the episode, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yes, dude. That's like such major fan service to the people who have been watching this stuff all along. And I mean, we saw it in like the last Harry Potter book. We saw it in Avengers Endgame, which we'll talk about too. Yeah. But when you can like pay tribute to those deep cuts because you know that the people that are reading or watching or whatever this shit know every word of it by heart. And you know whenever you make this kind of obscure reference to something that happened many seasons ago, it's going to click with a lot of people. Yeah. You know how much they care about this shit.
Well, and I was thinking like the end of Game of Thrones, it really isn't the end at all, because I've rewatched that show so many times.
I mean, that's the thing. I say that I'm so scared of it ending, but it's like I've reread Harry Potter stuff and rewatched the movies.
It's honestly
8 million times.
It's like Lord of the Rings. It's like, I mean, I think a ton of people out there would say Return of the King is too long, but me sitting there was like, I don't want it to end. Just keep going.
I would say good day to you, sir.
Yeah, good day to you.
Return of the King is not too long.
Right. So you're sitting there like, I don't want it to end. I don't want it to end. And then when it does, you're like, I could start it again.
Yeah, I could do it over. Yeah. Yeah, because it's one of those journeys that is so epic and massive that like whenever it's done, you just want to be like, man, how did this all begin?
Yeah.
What were those simpler
How'd that
times?
all happen? Because that will happen. Because again, I know we're going to see in 3 more episodes, we're going to see so much stuff paying off from things you didn't even notice along the way.
Right.
Like, totally. I didn't really even notice that when Jamie and... this is not from the new episode. When Jamie and Brienne were kidnapped by the Boltons.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that the person who takes care of him is Qyburn, who becomes... the maester of Cersei and hand to the queen.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah, he's the one that like heals his like wounded cut off hand and shit.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, so like again, 3 more episodes, you'll be able to go back and watch the series again and be like, "Oh, all of this is way more significant than I realized at the time." Cuz like I guarantee seasons 5 and 6 probably have a lot more significance and will pay off more,
probably
maybe near here at the end, because that, you know, there was a lot of Iron Island stuff and Dorne stuff there that maybe will come back into play.
Very well could be, man. Yeah. And plus, let's not be stupid. The books still aren't done.
That's true.
There's still the books to finish off, if he ever does.
He might not make it.
I
Yeah.
am sure that he is so fucking goddamn tired of people being like, no, I think he's gonna die before you finish him. Could you imagine that? Like,
People
could you imagine
constantly
being that
talking
guy?
about you dying.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is not even like, I'm sure I'm gonna miss him when he's gone, but he didn't finish my goddamn books.
Right.
I want to know the rest of the story. You know what I mean? That has to be kind of
I
infuriating.
actually feel the same way kind of with Clive Barker and the Books of the Art series with because he did the Great and Secret Show and then the
Is that the Hellbound Heart? Is
No,
that
no,
series?
no.
I don't know anything about him.
Great and Secret Show and then the sequel to that I can't remember, but there's supposed to be a third. Those came out in the 90s.
Whoa.
He hasn't made, and he's like, his health has been failing in the past few years.
Yeah, he's doing
so
that.
it's like, is this ever gonna come out? Is he ever gonna like finish this trilogy?
No kidding.
But that's of course nowhere near as big as Game of Thrones.
Yeah. I can't imagine just the creative pressure that Martin must be under, though, to be like, I've created this thing. It was like a hit among the nerds.
Yeah.
And then it became like a massive scale, like global phenomenon.
Right.
And then you're like, all eyes on me. I guess I'll finish my little books now.
Yeah.
Like the expectation level
That's
has
huge.
to be absolutely punishing at
I
that
would think
point.
the seasons coming out before the books, though, would kind of take some of that pressure off, where it's just like you get to see what hits and misses in those seasons, and then
That's
you can,
true.
in the book, be like, well, I didn't intend that.
Huh. That's a good point. Yeah, he can see all the stuff that didn't work.
Yeah.
And then be like, okay, so steer away from that.
Maybe that was even his plan. He wants to wait until the end. And because, honestly, the end of Game of Thrones would be the best time to release a new book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because people would be like, I want more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Strike while that iron's hot.
Yeah.
George. Hey, George, we know you're listening. Get that book out, son. And of course, Avengers Endgame also just came
The
out.
culmination of 21 other movies up to this
Holy
point.
shit,
Yeah.
dude. Can you imagine if you were, like, let's say like 15 when Iron Man came out? You
Yeah.
know? And you're like in your mid-20s now.
Right,
Maybe you
so
have like
you-
a wife and kids
like
and shit.
You know what, though? Like,
Crazy.
Honestly, I think we were the best age for it because when
We grew
you're
up reading the fucking books, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We grew up with all this stuff, and this is a culmination. But like for a 15-year-old, I bet they went through the period where they're like, I don't care about comic book movies anymore.
Right.
You always go through that I'm an adult now period where
Yeah,
you like let go of all these things you love and try to embrace all these new things. And some of it sticks, and then 5 years later, you're like, hey, didn't I love all those things
Right.
back in the day?
Yeah.
Those are really great.
Still sick.
Yeah.
It's just like us and Jägermeister. Exactly like
Yeah,
that.
I'll get right back to that.
Well, Underberg is the new, like, cooler version of
Yeah,
Jägermeister.
check out our Underberg video on the Instagram
Oh, it's-
because
spoilers, it's terrible.
it's gross.
It's awful, man. Totally terrible. Yeah, we're not going to spoil up in games here, but, you know, it's so special to me to have gotten to watch these movies as a kid who,
Yeah.
you know, when I was reading these comics and stuff in the late 80s and early 90s,
You didn't have anybody to talk to. About
I had
it, really.
I had no
Yeah.
friends that read comics. The movies weren't capable of showing the stuff that was
Yeah.
in these comics. Just the special effects and stuff just weren't there.
Yeah.
So my whole life I've been like, these stories are sick.
Yeah.
Yes, it's about people in tights shooting fire out of their hands.
Yeah,
and stuff
whatever.
like that.
Uh-huh.
These stories are sick.
They're
and
great.
And it's like you try to explain to people and they wouldn't get it. It was like, oh, it's comic books, kid stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't read comic books. That's for nerds.
Obviously.
And it's like, if you could only see in your imagination what I see when I read these comics, and then when we started watching these movies, like whenever I saw the first Iron Man, it was like, oh my God, they fucking did it. Holy shit.
And
they
it's so
actually
good.
did it.
It's still so good.
It's still in my top 3 of all the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible, man. And so to see Endgame finally pay off on this stuff, I mean, dude, Infinity War was written how long ago?
Yeah.
Like 25, 30 years ago
Infinity
now?
War was like, yeah, that was early 80s, I believe.
It's
or
insane.
maybe mid 80s.
And to finally see this pay off and for it to be loved and adored by so many people and handled with such respect and done so well. Again, we're not going to go super deep
Oh, yeah,
into
we're
it.
not going to spoil it, but
Obviously, we fucking love it.
Yeah.
And we're planning on doing ourselves a little mini-sode.
with a fella named Andrew Wood?
One Andy Wood, who
Yep.
you guys will remember from the Predator episode as well
Andy
as
is
our
the
mini
kid who owned
collaborations.
all the toys in Toy Story, of course.
Andy has all the toys, period, dude.
That is true.
You've been in his basement.
Yeah, he's got great toys.
He's got the fucking flag. He's
Yeah.
got the G.I. Joe. You could damn sleep on that thing.
That's awesome.
It's gigantic. So we're going to do a mini-sode talking about this with Andy because he's the most knowledgeable
Right, yeah.
nerd that we know.
Exactly.
So stay tuned for that, probably within the next week or so.
Yeah,
I would
we
say.
don't want to ruin it for anybody, but we
No.
also want
We
to
wanna talk
strike
about
while
it.
the iron's hot.
Yeah.
Like we want people to hear us.
Yeah, but definitely go see it. It was fucking great. 3 hours.
Yeah.
Very, very well spent.
I was surprised. Emily and I, we stupidly didn't pre-buy tickets and just showed up at a 9:00 showing
Yeah.
at Westtown Mall at the Cinnabar, which, if you live around here,
Is it nice? I've not
it's
been
pretty
yet.
nice.
Yeah?
Really nice.
It's like a damn dinner theater, right?
It is. And the food's actually good.
Really?
Yeah.
What'd you have? I'm curious what theater food
Well, we didn't
is.
actually watch it there, but I've been there before, and I think I had the pretzels there, but oh wait, no, I had a chicken sandwich.
The old chicken
And it was
huh?
good, and it
Really?
wasn't like chicken sandwich where it's like it was good, and then later you're like puking or
Yeah.
shitting everywhere. The chicken sandwich, like just regular
Pretty
old,
decent.
well done chicken sandwich. Yeah.
All right, then. I was curious about that place. So you guys didn't buy tickets in advance? Were you
Yeah,
watching
so we
like,
showed up at like 9 thinking, and it was empty.
Yeah.
At 9. And we would go up to wire tickets, and they were like, "Oh no, we're sold out through 11:45 tonight."
Oh, shit.
And so we were like, "Fuck!" And so we started looking for places, and we saw Downtown had a 10:00 show, and we went immediately on Fandango to buy the tickets and bought the tickets. And when we got there, they said they had just added that show in the morning.
Oh, wow,
Because
yeah.
they had sold out all of their shows, and it was packed.
Damn.
And kids in there, tons of kids, and I was thinking the whole time, fuck.
yeah,
kids.
they're going to fuck this movie
And there
up
was
for
this
me.
one guy who had like 5 kids with him, and he was like this hippie grandpa who had the sweetest voice, but also like you could tell he had no idea what was happening. Like you could tell that he did not know he was sitting down for the culmination of 21 Marvel movies.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
he
was
was
in the
just
dark.
talking full voice to his kids
Oh,
like
Jesus.
before, and he was like, "Now Pop doesn't stand for that, okay?" But like I can't do his sweet voice. And I was thinking the whole time, like, fuck, the moment this movie comes on, I'm gonna hear that dude talking
Yeah,
to these
exactly.
kids the whole time.
Now, who's that there?
Yeah. And no, it was silent. The
Wow.
entire time. Like, and the movie has a lot of moments where it gets quiet.
Uh-huh.
And when it got quiet, I was like expecting to hear at least somebody talking. Never.
Right.
The whole time,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
just glued to the screen.
Yeah, there was like a respectful reverence
Yeah.
for what the fuck was happening. It's
Yeah.
kind of unusual. It's like I don't really think I've seen a big ass important movie like that and had a theater that full
Yeah.
of that many like normies.
Just like so excited, so reverent.
Yeah,
toward
that's
this
the
movie, yeah.
word. That's
Yeah.
absolutely the word is reverent. Yeah, same here. Only we saw it on like it was well the movie came out last Thursday. We couldn't see it that night, and then Friday is usually a day that I teach a lot.
Yeah.
But I just kind of figured out, I was like, oh, I only have like one student today. And Kate was like, cool, I don't have to go to work. Let's go see
see
like
it.
a 4 o'clock.
Right.
So we went 4 o'clock on a Friday, and it was like maybe half full.
Yeah. I mean, that
Got great seats.
you
It
got
was
the
awesome.
perfect time. Yeah.
That's the way to fucking do it.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely loved it, man. It was really, really a great watch. So be sure to stay tuned for our
Yeah, we'll get that out to you.
mini-sode about Avengers Endgame coming up. I'm excited to see what they do next. God
Speaking-
damn, how do they follow that up?
By the way, Ben, speaking of things to stay tuned for,
What?
our Patreon.
Wait, what Patreon?
The Patreon that we're releasing right before you even listen to this episode. Bum, 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 bum.
That's right. You now have the opportunity to give
us
us
money.
your money. We have given you guys well over 300 hours,
Yeah, this will be 114 episodes that we've recorded.
an average of 2 hours or so long. Some
Well,
dip
yeah, the
into 3.
minisodes are about 30, but we also have several 3-hour episodes.
give and give and give.
Yeah.
and ask
Also,
for nothing in return.
like almost 100 videos on YouTube. Now, some of those are just the podcast.
Right, yeah.
But there's a ton of
Hey, it takes time,
original
y'all.
material up
Takes
there.
time. We've given you our thoughts. We've given you our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
We've had so many hangovers for this show. So many hangovers. Oh man, dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we've had a lot of you guys reach out. I don't know. I'm saying all this stuff as if I'm like, you guys owe us. No, you
Yeah,
really,
we don't have to
you
convince
don't.
anybody.
Yeah, like this-
The people that want to give us money just want to give us money.
That's the thing. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, this show started not as us being like, you know
No.
how we can make money is with our podcast. It was like, we haven't hung out since college. We need a reason
Yeah.
to like talk it to each other
Exactly.
every week.
It was really just like a way to talk to each other about something we loved.
Yeah.
And like the most I saw coming of it is maybe somebody being like, "Oh, I've heard your podcast.
That's fun."
Well, would you like to write a movie?"
yeah.
Not, "Oh, I've heard your podcast. podcast. Would you like money for the podcast?
Yeah,
So
and we've had a lot of people reach out and just be like, hey, do you guys have a PayPal? Do you guys have any way I could just say thanks? Or we've had a lot of people send us beer, which is amazing.
yeah,
I love that.
we do love that.
Huge fan of that.
Yeah, me too.
But we've recently had a ton of people just be like, yeah, we would love to support you guys if you guys ever started a Patreon or whatever.
Yeah.
So here you go, guys. Again, I'm not saying y'all owe us shit. You don't. This is fun.
You can listen. If you don't want to give to the Patreon, that's fine.
Yeah, it's absolutely fine.
If you want to give to the Patreon, we're not offering a ton right now, but we've set some goals. We'll, once we hit a certain point, we'll be able to do some merch.
Right.
And once we hit a certain point, guys, we could do a live episode. So we just honestly need to give everyone the opportunity to, because like a lot of people I know just feel bad about not giving money to the people that entertain them.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
I mean,
I get that. I get that feeling where it's like, well, you're giving me this. I have money. I'd like to give it to you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great to me. But seriously, if you are the type of person who's like, I just don't have money to give,
that's fine. Enjoy the show.
Yeah, we're still making it.
Rate and review on iTunes. You can do that for free.
Sure.
That helps us out a lot.
Yeah.
And the tiers start at $1. This isn't like the kind of thing where it's like $1 per episode. We'll put out 100 episodes this month.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Yeah, we're not hiding the episodes or anything. We don't have any plans to try to maintain all of our material away from people's eyes.
No.
We just want an opportunity to... I really would like to do a live show, honestly.
It'd be a lot of fun,
my main thing is I'd like to get to a point where we're making enough money per month where flying somewhere and doing a live show is viable.
Oh yeah, totally.
Feasible.
Or even getting us out so we could like talk to people that work in the horror industry.
Sure,
and
do some
like
interviews
that.
and stuff. That would be great.
All of that stuff would be amazing. Or some like film fests and things like that.
Exactly. There's so many things.
I'd love to have an opportunity to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but it has to come from somewhere. The money has to come from somewhere.
Yeah, and I don't have it. I know we don't have it. So we thank you if you do donate. If you don't, thank you for listening.
Yeah, exactly right. And we'll post up links and stuff on the Instagram, Facebook, just basically everywhere. We'll put them in the description of this podcast and stuff too. So if you like what you've heard over the show's lifetime and just want to say thanks, even if it's just $1 and then you cancel next month, that's fine.
A fuck a buck.
A fuck a buck.
That should be an option.
I'll buy us a cold beer either way. So we appreciate you guys.
$1 will get you a Yingling at Food City.
That's true. A whole pint. A pint of Yingling. Yes, indeed. Now, Steve, the subject of our show today, of course, is House of 1,000 Corpses.
That's a lot of corpses.
That's more than I've ever had.
Yeah.
That's a bunch.
Yeah.
Bunch of corpses.
You notice how I'm quiet?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How come?
It's not more than I've ever had.
Oh.
But I don't want everybody to know about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because if they dig up my basement,
yeah, no good.
Nah.
No bueno.
I committed genocide.
And I think that as we slip on into the preview palace here, before we get on to the movie review portion of the show,
welcome to the preview palace.
When I think of Rob Zombie, the creator and auteur of this film, I can't help but think about what a powerful and authoritative affirmation he gives to us repeatedly in his verses and his songs.
Yeah.
I'm talking about just a big old strong yeah. I was thinking about, like, let's say, for example, all over More Human Than Human, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
There are words of affirmation all over that song.
Yeah.
Just so many yeahs. And he delivers it in such a way that is so convincing to me and just so powerful that it makes me go, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
So we were kind of talking about this as far as like what we're going to talk about for our preamble for the show. Me and Steve just kind of started thinking about other extremely powerful and important yas through history.
And it was kind of a joke, but then we started listening to them and realized, holy shit,
kind of a lot.
They're a lot.
I'll tell you what, if people weren't sure about donating to Patreon before,
this will fucking tip it over. This is it. We're talking best yas.
Talking about the best yas of all time. Now, of course, what kind of got me thinking about this is I shared a meme on my Instagram feed not too long ago that was talking about how Rob Zombie is just Hot Topic Macho Man.
True.
And I got to thinking about it. It's like when you think about the shades, the tassels, the
Yep.
cowboy hats,
Uh-huh. All
even
of
the
it.
even the yaz.
Oh yeah,
Dude, you want to
Even the
talk
voice.
about... Oh, dude, yeah, exactly. Even the voice is
Yeah.
the same. So when you think about the Macho Man, Randy Savage, I mean, I'm talking one of the most authoritative affirmations of all time.
Seriously.
Absolutely so.
I like how Macho Man had like different oh yes for different moods. Like you know, when he was just exuberant, it was a oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
But then
brother.
when he was like serious, it would be like oh yeah.
Getting him to his boiling point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy had a way of really selling a that made me want to maybe snap into a Slim Jim.
Oh sure.
It let me know that the bone saw was ready.
Bonesaw's ready.
Saw
Snapping
is
the-
ready. I don't know about you. I can already tell. I'm gonna have a sore throat after this episode.
Yeah,
All these-
we're gonna probably be doing a good bit of that.
All these scuzz voices just tearing me up.
let me tell you.
Yeah, Macho Man definitely deserves to be on a list of best yaz ever.
He really does. But man, I'll tell you what. We all know the man who barges through your wall and lets you know what's up.
Look out.
Kool-Aid Man.
Oh, yeah. That guy could definitely sell you a that said, you know
really
what?
could.
I want some artificial coloring, ton of sugar. Did you drink a lot of Kool-Aid as a kid?
I did. I remember my sister and I, because my mom was a single mom, so we had to learn how to like, you know, microwave soup and make Kool-Aid and stuff because that's easy.
Yeah.
And so my sister and I both loved sour candy.
Right.
And one time we made Kool-Aid without adding sugar.
Oh, the old sour Kool-Aid.
And with only like 12 ounces of water.
Oh my God.
So it was like this super sour, and we put it in like it was like a ketchup dispenser that had like a squeeze top.
Okay, yeah,
and
yeah.
we'd see who could
You'd
squeeze
snoot
the
it.
most in your mouth before you couldn't take it. That was a fun time.
I actually think that might be pretty good.
It actually, it was. It was
might
just
be
like
okay with
sour
that.
candy. I mean, there was no real difference.
Yeah.
It was just flavored
It's
and
just,
sour.
yeah, it's citric acid and
Yeah.
artificial fruit flavor.
Yeah, and color.
I'd say that was probably all right.
Yeah, it was like a warhead.
You know, the thing is when I was a kid, we would usually drink like just the Kool-Aid lemonade, right?
Yeah.
And stay away from the more vividly colored.
Yeah, because those are bad for you.
Yeah, and that was the thing. And
If it's purple, that's not natural.
absolutely not good for you. And it's like, meanwhile, the like cup and a half of purified white sugar you're putting in there, that's probably fine.
Man.
Dude, it's unbelievable. It's just one of those things
The
where you look
sugar
back and it's like,
industry is insane. Those
Oh my
motherfuckers have
God.
had us misled for so long.
absolutely so.
Fat is not bad for you. Sugar. bad
Sugar
for
is
you.
fucking terrible for you. But like when I was a kid, it was like, oh, that has red 6 in it. That's made of beetle shells.
That'll
You
make you
can't
go
use that.
crazy.
Yeah.
My mom also thought that the red 40 made
Red
me more
40, yeah.
hyperactive.
Right, yeah. No,
Yeah.
it was the goddamn sugar
It
in there.
was the sugar.
Good
yeah.
Lord, man. The amount of just sugar craziness we had in the 80s was unreal.
Yeah, I remember my mom just buying Little Debbie cakes and shit
Oh, sugar
all the time.
fucking everywhere,
At
dude.
school.
Yeah.
Like just getting a lemonade and a fudge round
And
for
that's a snack.
lunch.
I would feel like I needed to throw up if I ate that right now.
Oh, yeah.
It'd
Yes.
be fucking awful, man.
It would be disgusting.
You know, I talked last week about how we had that little Easter cabin weekend with
Yeah.
like Kate's parents and some family friends and
A lot
stuff.
of candy.
Dude, it's like baby boomers are on sugar 24/7.
Yeah.
It's like in the morning, coffee with a ton of sugar. During the daytime, let's drink Coke and sweet tea and lemonade.
Yeah.
And then at nighttime, you better have some dessert. It's like sugar all day with these people.
You're convincing my wife right now to become a baby boomer.
Oh my
She's
God,
gonna convert.
dude.
She loves that sugar.
That's just the devil. It is the damn devil,
It
dude.
sure is, but it's tasty.
Insanely addictive.
Hey, another good Ben.
Tell me.
Lil Jon.
Yeah.
Well, that's Ludacris. Oh no, that's
Usher.
That's Usher.
That's Usher.
Yeah. What?
Okay. Okay. Now that song right there, I remember when that was a huge radio hit.
Yeah, it's like 2005, 6.
I think so. And that's one of the first times that I finally accepted this world is not my own anymore. I don't understand why this is important or popular.
You don't? I love that song.
I just don't get it, Steve. I
Ludacris
just don't
filled
get
cups
it.
like double D's.
I guess so. but I didn't resonate with that.
Really?
It just
never
didn't
got
get to
into
me.
like Atlanta crunk
No.
sort of stuff.
No. But I will say, Lil Jon is far more talented than people give him
Oh yeah,
credit
he's
for.
obviously far more talented. Like he's putting on a persona.
Absolutely
He's
so.
a man who goes in and fucking works. So yeah, like Timbaland will be in an interview and it's like, yeah, this guy's an artist. Of course he makes great beats. But then Lil Jon can have fun in an interview and doesn't give a shit if you think he makes great beats because he does.
Yeah.
So like I like that art. I don't feel like I am necessarily that type of person, but that type of temperament where it's just like I know how good I am. I don't need to come off to you the way you want me to come off because in the end, the shit I make is good.
He also possesses the rare multisyllabic yeah. Yeah, where there's two distinct syllables in that thing.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to get one out of there. Yeah.
You're like half syllable.
Yeah, exactly. But the guy that sneaks two syllables into yeah is the guy who is truly happy with himself and his status in life.
Yeah.
When he drops a yeah, it lets you know I'm right where I want to be.
That's true.
He does well for
Give
himself.
me another yeah, Ben. Who's a good yeah?
Dude, when I think about a yeah, one of the first things that comes to mind for me is none other than one King Diamond.
Oh, yeah?
That's right, the original singer of Merciful Fate. Have you listened to a lot of Merciful Fate before?
Not a lot. I have listened to Merciful Fate.
I'm going to strongly recommend that
Okay.
you listen to more. If you like stuff that's sung about Satan in a ridiculously high falsetto voice.
I do like that. Yeah.
Okay, well then you're
Okay,
on board
yeah.
to enjoy Merciful Fate.
That's a fun time.
And King Diamond.
Yeah.
Huge fan. In particular, when I think about The Curse of the Pharaohs by Merciful Fate.
okay.
At the end of the first verse, there is a very strong, like 2-octave jump that he sings from, yeah!
That's awesome. That's
It's
always
very
fun.
strong when he does it, man. I can only seek to replicate the
What
powers
was it?
of King
What
Diamond.
happened at some point in the 80s? Like, what happened to make some of the singers just embrace the operatic idea of metal? Like, I don't care
Started
if
with-
it comes across
yeah.
as, like, realistic or fun. I just want it to be fucking epic. I
Right.
don't give a shit.
Yeah. I don't know if it began with Bruce from Iron Maiden.
Right.
I'm sure that there's some metal historians right now that are just like
Oh, yeah, they know what's up.
balling their fists up right now.
Probably
mad
like
at
King
me.
Crimson or something. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of that stuff, you could even trace back to like Queen a lot of times. Stone
That's
Cold
true, that
Crazy and
epic,
songs
like,
like that.
yeah.
There's a lot of heavy stuff in their catalog that maybe dipped into some of that. And ultimately, a lot of classical stuff sounds fucking heavy. Like Wagner sounds heavy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it started there. That's a good question. I would like to know more about the history of the operatic metal style. I would also put a Jeff Scott Soto in that category as well. Jeff Scott Soto, a lot of people know from his work singing for Yngwie Malmsteen.
Oh, okay.
Or as my buddy Phil's sister likes to call him, Yahweh Mouse Meat.
Yahweh Mouse
You've been
Meat.
listening to Yahweh Mouse Meat, haven't you? But if you want to hear a strong, authoritative Yahweh Mouse Meat.
Like the god of mice was just disemboweled and butchered.
Mouse Meat.
Yahweh Mouse Meat.
That's
Okay,
him, dude.
gotcha.
That's the guy. But Jeff Scott Soto puts forth a extremely powerful in the song "Now Your Ships Are Burned."
That's a good title.
It's almost a very like South Parky. I'll show you later. I can't play it because of copyright
Okay.
stuff. But yeah, "Now Your Ships Are Burned." That that's right before the solo. It's kind of a almost like a Howard Dean, like
That lost
Howard
that
Dean.
man the presidential nomination.
That used to be all the
That
idiot
used
you had to be to
all you
lose.
needed. And now we know, honestly, well, you could do whatever.
Yeah.
You can go and that's not crazy. What are you talking about?
Well, the thing is like nowadays, if you were up for election and you went, you go, sick, I just became a meme. Yeah.
Sick. If you follow it up with Mexicans or something.
Oh, yeah.
Mexicans.
Mexicans.
Yeah. You don't even have to make a statement about Mexicans. You just say, Mexicans. And then people are like, I agree.
You got another hip hop for me here? boy. That sounds like one Flava Flav.
That's the man right there.
The ultimate hype man.
That's like a bit that like became his thing for a while. That was his shtick.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been sampled in only God knows how many songs.
Uh-huh.
Who do you think would win in a hype man fight, Flava Flav or the guy that's a hype man for the Boss Tones? That's a battle royale. I gotta see that one. I had totally forgotten about that Flava Flav reality TV show, Flavor of Love.
God.
Kate brought it up the other day, and I was like,
crazy.
It was like unlocking, like hidden memories from my
And
mental
what's her
hard
name?
drive. I was like, I forgot about that.
Brigitte Nielsen was in that? Because
I think
she's
so.
his ex, or were they dating? Or?
That sounds right. I forgot about that.
Didn't they meet?
Red Sonja.
They met on one of those reality shows before that.
Mind blowing.
Yeah.
Mind blowing.
Ugh.
Flava's the shit. What a fucking
He really,
awesome dude.
yeah, man. Public Enemy, fucking awesome.
Can I put out another favorite
Please
from
tell
the
me.
musical world? What you know about one James Hetfield from Metallica? Second Metallica reference on the show.
I mean, I know he says "Bo."
yeah, he's a Bo kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah, he'll tell you Bo.
He says, "Yeah, you think?"
Oh yeah, he'll definitely bust out some yes.
Yeah.
Also on their cover, they have an anthology kind of song called "Merciful Fate" that is just several different Merciful Fate songs put together.
Lots of yes.
He dupes that yeah. He keeps it down in his octave though. He doesn't do the big falsetto yeah, but he busts out a big old fat yeah. That's very, very convincing.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely wasn't going no.
Isn't it interesting that like metal and hip hop seem to be the places where
This is where
really
the yas
fucking
go.
dominates?
Yeah, they really are, man. What I like about James too is whenever he gets tired of busting out a yeah, he'll also give you other words of affirmation. Like whenever the second riff in Seek and Destroy busts in, he says, "All right."
That's some good affirmation right there.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not quite as divisive as a yeah. I mean, because if you're not quite on board with the riff by then,
Right.
And he's like, yeah. You're like, I don't know.
But
I
he
don't
says,
know.
all right. You're like, oh, okay.
I'll give it a chance.
All right,
Yeah. It's like he's clearly feeling okay about it. I'm not sure. This might put me over the edge. James Hetfield, master of the yeah.
Now, this is what I'm going to point out because I just remember, I remember there was this, so I was in middle school when this song came out, 8th grade, I believe.
Yeah.
And a high school like band, they did like I don't know, it was like a touring talent show from the Jefferson County High School.
Okay.
And the band played Collective Souls Shine. And when the guy tried to do the yeah, I realized, oh, that's not easy. Because he didn't nail it.
One
He
does
was
not
like,
simply yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, but he, like, I can't do it. Yeah. Like,
It's true. You think it's easy until you try to bust one out. Yeah.
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 Like to nail the perfect yeah right in that pause in the music.
Right,
He
right.
fucking nailed it though, man.
That's also one of those ones that like fucking 25 years after the fact has become great meme fodder where people have replaced it with like little dog barks or people smacking their head on door frames or whatever. Yeah, like there's so many good things that people have replaced that yeah with. It's up there. Like my current favorite thing is all of the Mudvayne Berber-ding memes that are coming out.
I saw you
Have
posted
seen
the
these?
Berber-ding.
Yeah, Berber-ding, Berber-ding. Like, why that is a thing again, I
don't know.
cannot figure out.
Well,
But
people are discovering it for the first time because, like, we have to remember, like, 90s stuff was like kid stuff to 20-year-olds. That
Yeah,
was
that's
like
a good
their childhood.
Yeah.
And, like it may have been. I mean, it's still our childhood, but we were young adults.
yeah.
Yeah, for them, it's. I think there's even a different type of nostalgia where it's rediscovering it. Like I went
Probably,
through the
yeah.
same thing with like discovering new '80s punk bands that I'd never listened to. Like because there were so many fucking punk
Oh, yeah,
bands.
yeah.
And I was just a kid. And then later you're like, oh man, this is great. So like. Maybe people are discovering this and thinking it's great, or discovering it and thinking, "Man, the '90s sucked."
I sure was silly.
Let's make fun of it.
I will always put this out there. I will defend Ryan Martini of Mudvayne's bass playing to the death.
Okay.
That guy's bass playing is goddamn insane.
He slapped at a bass.
Oh my god, he slaps the bass. He also plays bass with this weird finger technique where he's like double jointed and kind of like plays slap with two fingers at the same time. I've literally never seen anybody else do
I think
it.
they call that the rabbit technique.
That's the old rabbit
That's
technique.
the bunny ears. He's bunny ears in it.
Yeah, he's just in there just goosing that thing. Just goosing that thing. He's the reason why I have that Warwick bass that's on the rack right there. Like, because he played a Warwick thumb, and I was like, burr ding. I need a burr ding. So here we go, man. Now, what about the most? I'm gonna say
the obvious, right?
Maybe the most heard
the most famous. Yeah.
in the world. Yeah.
Meet the new boss.
I mean, how many times has Roger Daltrey of the Who's been heard?
Well, at the beginning of every CSI Miami episode, so
that's several
at
million.
least 200 times.
Yeah, and I think everybody goddamn watches that show.
Maybe not. But
I've never watched it.
Most of us all did until Rory Cochrane got killed. Spoiler alert for
look
the
out.
third season of CSI Miami.
Oh, okay. All right. Kind of. All right.
Hey Ben, you don't watch CSI Miami? Is that what you're saying?
No, never watched it.
Looks like we've had a crime of dispassion.
He took his glasses off. It's perfectly executed.
That's how CSI worked. Basically, is Horatio would say something that
Kind
was
of
just like, obviously he was like looking at the scene for 20 minutes thinking of what he would say before he took his glasses off.
Right.
And he'd take his glasses off and then the Who.
It is quite an epic, Yeah,
it is.
I gotta say, if that doesn't get you fired up, I'm not sure much will.
Yeah.
You need to kickstart the old heart.
I think, didn't No Reservations have a in it? Remember the opening to Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations?
Yeah, it was by
That's
John,
also
John
a
Spencer
classic.
Blues Explosion.
Okay, there we go, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that
also a
did. That
classic.
had a very big, powerful, R.I.P.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
miss
sure.
that piece of shit.
Me too.
Miss that
Anthony
fucking
Bourdain.
guy.
He was an awesome piece of shit.
No doubt, man.
Yeah.
No doubt. I'll tell you what else is an awesome piece of shit.
This movie.
House of a Thousand Corpses.
It really is, in fact, an awesome piece of shit because it's not a great movie, but it does have some real cool stuff to it, I think.
You know, Steve, I'll agree it is a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's a piece of shit. Like, it certainly is not, like, it's not in Autopsy of Jane Doe range.
Okay,
Like,
so you think it's beyond that?
Yep, I think it's even better. No,
Okay.
I mean it's lower for sure. It's
Oh,
not
okay,
it's
gotcha,
not
gotcha.
middle of the road for me.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the swings that he took that really hit are pretty great. I mean, the creation of
Yeah.
Captain Spaulding, Otis Driftwood.
There's some
like,
great characters in here.
There
There's definitely
are.
some great characters. But
Yeah.
this is one of those movies where I find that expectation greatly changes the reality of how you experience this movie. Because when it came out in 2003, right?
Yeah.
Movie was made in 2000. It came out in 2003. This is before I started watching horror movies and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
This is before I really got into it very hardcore. So I'd only seen just a few trivial things by that point. And I remember a lot of friends of mine, and like a lot of like my friends' older brothers and shit, you know, like they would go and watch this movie, and they weren't horror movie watchers at all. So when they watched this movie, they just saw it as a completely unique horror movie that was brutal and gory and fucked up. They didn't know everything it was aping and ripping
Right,
off.
yeah, it's homage to a ton of other horror movies for sure.
So it's like they always told me about how gruesome and twisted and fucked up it was.
Yeah.
And so when I watched this movie for the first time, which was probably 2005 or 6, I would say.
I'm going to tell you a secret that I know
Yeah?
you don't know about.
Hit me.
The first time you watched it was also the first time I watched it, and I was sitting next to you in Kate's apartment.
Was it really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
You were the guy with the ball gag and the black leather mask.
That was me.
And the horsetail.
Uh-huh.
Dude.
That was a butt plug.
It was
wasn't
so
just a tail.
silky.
I know. It's fun.
Was that made of your real hair?
It was.
I
grew it
knew
out just for that.
I knew
But
it.
no, I remember because I was Mormon Steve then.
Yeah, so
and
you were
I had
Steve the
just come
Mormon.
back from Russia.
Holy shit. I didn't remember you watching that with
Yep,
us.
I sure did. I don't,
Okay, so
I don't remember.
You remember it better than me.
Yes, yeah.
So tell me-
that's not a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It should be. Normally, when I don't remember something, normally it means that it probably still happened, but I was stoned. But I was Mormon then, so I remember it clearly.
That, you know what? Yeah. When you don't drink and do drugs, your memories are
pretty
crystal clear.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
I actually watched that and Devil's Rejects with you guys.
So Devil's Rejects I saw before this.
Yes.
And that definitely also kind of tampered with my expectations because
that's such a great movie.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is a polished and completed, wonderful Western horror movie.
Yeah. It's gritty. It's dirty. It's basically all realistic.
Yes.
And you have outlandish characters and stuff, but it's ultimately a story about serial killers on the run.
Those type of people do exist.
Oh, yeah. Way worse people fucking exist than that. And so it was just kind of like, just a nasty, gritty crime movie to me.
And with a perfect ending.
Oh, ending is fucking awesome in that movie. And we watched it because our good buddy, Brandon Suttles.
Yeah, you guys, I remember you were telling me, because I had because I had just come back from Russia and didn't really know anything about what had been going on with movies for a while, because when you're a Mormon missionary, you don't go watch movies or watch TV.
Not typically.
Yeah, so I didn't know what was going on. And I remember watching it, and Devil's Rejects I remember loving, and then I remember watching House of a Thousand Corpses, you guys, and being like, what's the point A to point B here? I'm not seeing a straight line. I remember not
whatsoever.
loving it, and then trying to watch it again and not loving it, but then watching it for this. And the interesting thing about turning a critical eye onto this is it's hard to define exactly what's wrong with the movie. You know that it's off. You know it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like it should.
Right.
It's uneven in some way. But it's hard to point out exactly where it goes wrong.
Yeah, I have a few observations about where it kind of gets off the rails at times, but
it always seems to come back.
Yeah.
Like it comes back to it. I would say in the end, like it's just not exactly fun to watch.
Not really.
And since it's not fun and just paying homage, it's like, well, I could just watch those other movies because I like them.
Yeah, they're better.
Like I can watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre or The Hills Have Eyes or Spider Baby or any of the numerous weird backwoods family horror movies that are out there.
Ultimately, this movie is kind of like going to one of those crazy all-you-can-eat buffets where you can get spaghetti and sushi and chocolate pudding and fried shrimp.
Yeah.
And everything. And you have something from every fucking country on your plate.
It's all over the place,
And you're like, this isn't better than places that just specialize in one of these things.
I'd rather, if I'm going to get sushi, I want it to be from a sushi place.
Yes, correct.
Anywhere else, I'm like, I don't know if you know how to handle raw fish and feed it to me.
No,
Yeah.
But ultimately, too, kind of knowing this second time around, I can't help it. Knowing that I was going to that all-you-can-eat buffet that has everything in it, I think that I liked it better this time than when I watched it forever ago.
Because, me too.
Again, the expectations going into it, like people had told me how fucked up it was. I watched Devil's Rejects. I watched the Devil's Rejects, which is legit fucked up and awesome.
That's a great movie, yeah.
And then, so I had all these expectations going into watching this the first time, and I was like, wait, it's kind of silly and campy and music video-y. Then also tries to get hardcore and serious and fucked up, too.
Yeah.
It was just kind of disarming.
Yeah.
I guess the first time I saw it.
I think that this actually should have been titled, and I'm not kidding, the Firefly Family Variety Hour.
Right.
Because it plays like a variety hour show where it will just sort of cut to this weirdness that's going on over here, and then this weirdness that's going on over here. Like, it's sort of a variety show and over the top, and like,
I can see what you mean.
I think if they had embraced it and named it something like that instead of something brutal like House of a Thousand Corpses,
and presented
it doesn't hit that title. Like,
it's not like the normal linear narrative horror kind of story.
Yeah, it's just sort of all over the place, which is music video-y, as you said. Like,
ADD.
And it reminds me of his music videos. It reminds me of other shit he did. So, it seems exactly what you would expect from a music video director the first time they make a movie.
Right, yeah. You mentioned Hee Haw earlier.
It reminded me of Hee Haw, except with, instead of the interstitials being like, the interstitials are like, fucking skunk ape raped my wife.
Right,
Grr.
yeah.
Like-
Just all these weird smash cuts to
Yeah.
random ass shit. Yeah, once you drew that comparison, I was like, oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And that was obviously something that he was probably exposed to.
It's like
when he was a
Hellbilly
kid.
Hee Haw. Yeah, he
Hellbilly Hee Haw,
was.
yeah.
He grew up with carny parents.
This is news to me.
Yeah, I this needs to be known about Rob Zombie is that he grew up among carnies. So when you see, like, I think sometimes people see his characters and go, that person's over the top. That person doesn't exist. I've met people like Captain Spaulding.
Yes.
I've seen Charles Manson's interviews. Otis P. Driftwood exists.
Yeah.
Like, these people fucking exist for sure.
Right.
And he was right in this nice matrix where you get all these shitty people trying to hide from the rest of life and needing to be in a profession where you're never in one place for too long.
And surrounded by other people that feel the same way.
Exactly. So, like, he grew up with that.
That's pretty wild.
His family left the carnival because apparently some of the carnies cheated some locals at a game, and the locals showed back up with guns and torches.
Oh,
And
shit.
set the tents on fire. And a guy was like trying to help them to get away. And as he was trying to help them to get away, a person ran up and hit him in the face with a hammer.
Holy shit.
He saw all this as a child.
Whoa.
So when we then see his Halloween and see him trying to work through how a child can go through all this crazy shit and, you know,
maybe the
become
impact
this
it leaves
person,
on him, yeah.
he's really in some ways working through his own shit. Like,
Jeez.
and so
I didn't know that.
I get where people think that Captain Spaulding or Otis are over the top or like not realistic, but they absolutely totally are realistic. I've known alcoholics and cokeheads exactly like Captain Spaulding.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
No different. Where they just like their joke is scaring you into thinking they're going to murder you.
Right.
Like, it's
Oh,
so funny to
absolutely
them
so,
that
yeah.
you felt like you might be murdered.
No, I mean, these are like people that like my dad hung out with.
Yeah.
Or like really creepy uncles or
Yes.
like your friends' stepdads and stuff like that.
And they
Like,
all had this voice. Hey, what are you doing, boy? Grab me a beer while you're over.
maybe that's where Rob Zombie got the voice from.
Oh, yeah, probably.
He's like, maybe if I take that voice and kind of, yeah.
Drag you love. Yep, that'll do it.
Which, P.S., as much as our throats are hurting right now,
Yeah, I can't imagine.
that's why he blew so bad as a singer in the 90s and 2000s.
It'll kill you. It'll kill your voice.
He sounded fucking horrible. Maybe, I don't know if he's better now. I don't know how much he's fucking touring or anything right now.
I think, yeah, it seems like he had that cartoon for a while, World of Super El Beasto. Seems like he's just focused on making movies and stuff now.
Yeah.
I get that. I mean, he
sure.
started out at art school.
Right.
You don't normally go to art school because you want to have a band. Like, yeah, I mean, some people do.
I mean, sometimes it's the way to commit to having a band where you're like, art degree, I clearly have
I have
no
no other
parachutes.
option. Yeah.
So it gives me motivation to make the music thing work because I know ultimately my art degree is worthless.
Yep.
So there is that.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Now, Rob, like we said earlier, we kind of grew up around his music videos and stuff. That's kind of where we first got to know him, and seeing him in White Zombie and then later Rob Zombie videos and stuff. And there's no denying that the guy has a very clear and defined aesthetic. And this is the kind of thing that I attribute to a lot of artists who I don't necessarily, even if I don't like them, I still respect them.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, like I've told you, like I hate Radiohead. I hate System of a Down. I fucking hate System of a Down.
Weird comparison, Radiohead and System of a Down.
I know,
but
yeah.
okay.
There's no similarities, but they're just similar in terms of like people love them. I fucking hate those bands.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I respect the shit out of the fact that within 5 seconds of either song,
You know it's them.
yeah, you know exactly who it is.
You
You're
know
like,
a
this is System of
Radiohead
Down
song
You know Radiohead song
almost
instantly.
immediately, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I always respect an artist who has a very clear aesthetic, whether it's musically, visually, whatever. And Rob definitely has a fantastically clear aesthetic that he draws from. And to me, it's kind of like if you could combine classic Universal horror stuff with, like, let's say, like Hot Rod artwork, like Rat Fink. You're familiar with like Rat Fink and shit?
Yes.
It's that vintage Hot Rod artwork plus Universal Monsters equals Rob Zombie and a dash of Macho Man, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it's that scuzzy.
That is the equation to get Rob Zombie.
Yeah, you put those in the fly teleportation pods.
Boom, you got Rob Zombie on the other side.
You get a Rob Zombie coming out in the middle there. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Yeah, he's always kind of had this like vintage, shitty 70s dirty scuzzy
I think
thing.
like he's like late 60s to mid 70s horror movie and mostly those like late night B horror movies sort of aesthetic.
And even like the Munsters.
And even the Munsters. Yeah, there are Munsters in this. Like he has segments with the Munsters in it where it's just like, yeah, that's what he's going for. He's going for that sort of aesthetic.
Yeah. I even recall, I think was it in the Dragula music video? He's driving a car that even kind of like looks like the Munster
it looks
car.
like Grandpa Munster's. Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So he's always had this like kind of hot rod.
By the way,
about what he does to him.
The final girl's dad, you know, he makes that call and then he looks out the window and they're trick or treating.
Yeah,
that is the neighborhood from the Munsters.
No
and
shit.
The house that he's in is the house from Leave It to Beaver.
No way.
Yeah, that's all on the Universal backlot where this was all shot. The house, of course, of the Firefly family is the house from the best little horror house in Texas.
That
starring
I had read. That's crazy.
Local legend Dolly Parton.
Yes, indeed. Hail Dolly.
While they were shooting it, Universal didn't stop the tours
Pro move
that were driving by, so they just would get takes ruined because there was a tram operator like, this is the house from the best little whorehouse in Texas.
And here we see
Here
Bobby
you'll
Zed.
see Walton Goggins getting shot.
My God, man. That had to be unbelievably irritating to deal with while you're trying to shoot a fucking movie.
Yeah. So Universal obviously had sort of, I don't know, they bought the idea, invested in the idea, and then kind of wavered on the idea. And then, it was obvious they weren't full in on House of a Thousand Corpses.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think even whenever you watch this, you can see kind of a clear development of probably everything that Rob experienced when he was a kid, where it's like, okay, growing up around carnies.
Right.
He probably watched a lot of like the Munsters and the Addams Family when he was a kid.
He probably saw some people with gigantism and stuff for people with, people that were part of the sideshow.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And then also, too, you see where it's like, okay, and then whenever he reached the late 70s, he saw The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah.
And he saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. And I think this movie's genealogy is extremely clear.
Yeah, it's very clear.
You can watch this and be like, I can tell you everything this guy has watched.
Yeah.
You know? And here's the thing.
Yeah.
There's such a fine line because I feel like I can't rightly criticize him for that and then in the same breath be like, you know what, I love fucking Kill Bill.
Yeah, or Kill Bill.
You know?
This is a Tarantino movie. This is so much a Tarantino movie. The opening is an opening to a Tarantino movie, just not as well directed. The lines, the shit they're talking about, what happens in the opening is exactly how you would expect a Tarantino movie to open. It is similar, in fact, to From Dusk Till Dawn.
It's funny you mentioned the Tarantino comparison to the start of this movie, too, because as I just started 31 last night before Kate went upstairs, and it's like just that black and white thing of Doomhead talking to the camera.
Yeah.
Kate was like, this is ripping Quentin Tarantino really hard.
Yeah, well,
even
he's
that
been
black and white
doing it
intro
since
feels
the
like
beginning. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I don't feel like I can really rightly, like I said, smite one guy for wearing his influences on his sleeve and then praise another guy for doing the exact same thing.
Well, if Zombie was into feet, maybe people would.
Yeah,
that's
would
maybe
be
the right combo where you're like, I like to pay homage to a lot of obscure movies. Also I like feet.
Really
like
big
feet.
into that.
Can we get more feet?
Rob, however, just seems to be obsessed with Sherry Moon Zombie, his wife.
Yeah, that's an interesting obsession because, like, she's very pretty.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Yeah, and she shows moments of being able to act.
Moments.
But
ultimately,
also,
he writes these pain in the ass, annoying ass characters for her to play.
Wait, does he love her or does he hate her?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, when it's just like, oh, my baby doll, I want to write some characters for you to play.
Yeah,
everybody's gonna fucking hate them. Yeah, really.
You can't stand her. Nobody wants to talk to her.
Maybe that's his ultimate way of being like, she's mine, all mine, is to make nobody like her.
Nobody like her, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Her fucking laugh and stuff. And
Yeah, well, that's just
so
that's the
goddamn
baby
annoying.
character though that I think is supposed to be annoying.
Oh, sure, absolutely so.
So she kind of gets painted with that brush because her first character that we ever see her as is Baby, and then the character we know her best as is Baby in Devil's Rejects.
Right.
But I mean, Lords of Salem, which is a movie that most people would say is really bad. I don't think it's really bad. I think
haven't
it's just,
seen it. No.
I think it's just not great.
No.
But in that, she plays a complete opposite character
Really?
who's way more laid back, and I think she does a great job in it. Of course, by that point, she has 10 years of acting experience under her belt.
That'll do it.
So that'll do it. But
Right
yeah,
on.
she's... I don't know. In this movie, I don't think she's bad at all. Like,
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
think at any point she's bad. And I think, again, that comes down to maybe some improvisational elements to the dialogue, where he seems to be more loose in this than he is in Devil's Rejects. Devil's Rejects is a vision that he had from the beginning. Like, you can tell from the beginning exactly how he wants it to be.
Yeah.
Whereas this is sort of all over the place, and maybe he was able to give people a little more leeway because he didn't exactly know where he wanted it to go. I mean, this movie... I mean, he will even say now that this isn't a good movie and that it's like all he sees is mistakes in it. Like all he sees is problems in it. So
he's apparently kind of gone back and said,
Yeah.
there's a lot of mistakes in this movie.
yeah, so like I think maybe he was just learning the trade, learning how to do this, maybe way more loose, and it actually comes away as making Baby less annoying, which is I think a bad thing, because in this, Baby is just like, by the time they get to the house and they meet Baby and they meet Mama Firefly, it's like, I mean, the house is creepy, but I wouldn't be scared.
Right.
I've been to houses like that where it's just like, yeah, it's just weird. They're just a weird family. Like, they don't necessarily kill and eat people.
Right, yeah.
They're just weird.
You just get your cheap weed and then leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you're always like, man, why does this take 45 minutes
Yeah,
every
God
time? I just
damn,
need
man.
the weed.
And
Like,
to leave. I want to get the fuck out of here, man.
I almost said the name of the guy.
Yeah.
I was like,
Nope.
Yeah, I know that guy. I'm glad I remember the one time I went over to this. Okay, this is drug dealer fun.
Get it.
Back in the day, one time I went to this guy's house, and it seriously took 2 hours to just get a bag of weed that was in his pocket.
No.
And he was telling us about how his mom was getting too old, and she had made spaghetti and didn't drain the fat from the beef, and so it was really greasy. And the whole time I'm sitting there, and I'm like, it smells like a pool hall in here. I don't want to be
I'm
here.
gonna get out.
It smells like
smells like greasy spaghetti.
greasy spaghetti and cigarettes and cheap beer all over the gross ass carpet. Oh my god! And why do I hear someone's oxygen machine?
Oh
and,
my God,
it's like
dude.
just the most disgusting shit. And I get that, but it's also like Baby not being that annoying, and the mom being like a little creepy, but honestly not that creepy.
Yeah.
That actually does lull you in a good way.
Yeah.
Where
I see
it's
that.
like, but also we know from the beginning, like we see Captain Spaulding is a fucking killer. We see that their tire got shot out by the family. We know the whole time the family is scary. So it's hard to care about the kids. And Rob Zombie did say that nobody gives a shit about the kids. Like,
Yeah, that was kind of his whole purpose. He's like, whatever, you
Yeah.
want to fucking root for the killers.
you want to root for the killers, and Baby doesn't have as much of a personality as she does in Devil's Reject in this, so it's just like I don't even root for them at that point. At that
Yeah.
point in the movie, before anything has happened, even by the time we see Tiny and his burnt face and stuff, even at that point, it's still nothing has happened. I don't know. We already know they're bad. Why lull us? Why try to pull us into thinking that they're not that bad?
Right.
Like, why not just let the insanity start?
Yeah.
Like, why do we have... The dinner scene's fine. I know you want a Texas Chainsaw Massacre dinner scene,
Absolutely, yeah.
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre dinner scene was insane.
Yeah.
Instead of relaxed and everybody being like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was also, like we talked about in our episode, these are actors being subjected to like 48-hour work days and damn 117-degree heat with
Whereas
rotting meat all
these
around.
guys are just on a Universal Studios backlot and probably in an air-conditioned studio. Like,
right, yeah. Trying to recreate that exact thing. Like, here's the thing, is like, there's a lot of things in Tarantino's movies where he will definitely kind of cop the persona or look of a character or a story arc or whatever. But this kind of goes into just like, hey, let's have a scene where they pick up a hitchhiker. Like Texas Chainsaw.
Exactly like Texas Chainsaw.
Let's have a dinner scene that's creepy and weird and
Like
awkward.
Texas Chainsaw.
Like Texas Chainsaw.
Let's have their tire get blown out mysteriously, just like Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah. Let's have a big murder competition where people run around getting caught by killers in 31. Like Running Man.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, okay, there's paying homage, and then there's just trying to be
just repeating
what you
other
like.
storylines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's one of my problems with this, is this just really gets into, okay, could you just come up with a story of your own that's not people get tortured by backwards hillbilly pain worshippers?
Right.
It's been done already.
Yeah, it has. But here's the thing. As we talked about in context, it hadn't happened in a long time. Because the 90s was full of teen screams.
Right.
And the 2000s was full of remakes. And so, in a sense, what he was doing was original for the moment.
That's true, because
even though it's just paying homage to tons of other movies.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like through the 90s and even a lot of the late 80s, it's like there wasn't a ton of these like grimy, scuzzy, like Hills Have Eyes and Otis and, not Otis, Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer and stuff like that. There weren't really a lot of those
Otis
going
from
around.
that movie is in this movie.
Right, yeah. There weren't a lot of just like gritty, dirty, shitty things from that time period. And he was definitely trying to recreate some of that. So, looking back,
without falling into torture porn as well. Like, it doesn't fall into the torture porn level. Like, they do have that torturing Bill scene, but it's just sort of an interstitial with Brick House playing.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
That didn't do it for me, by the way.
Yeah. I mean,
That was a
it didn't
soundtrack choice
Brick
for-
House wasn't right for that moment. It really wasn't.
No. Well, it's that kind of thing where it gets into that like Suicide Squad problem where it's just like they chose the biggest A-list gigantic songs.
Yeah.
You know?
You want a song in that moment. Like, he was obviously trying to do a Reservoir Dogs.
Hell yeah,
Stuck
he was.
in the middle with
Stuck
you
in the
type of
middle,
thing.
yeah, Steelers Wheel.
But Brick House just didn't.
Too big for
doesn't-
that.
It's too big. Yeah.
Yeah, you've associated that with too many good times in your life.
But again, he's just mimicking Quentin Tarantino. So.
It goes back to that. Yeah, it definitely goes back to that. Now, in addition to Baby, who we've talked about, there is a cast of characters in this movie that is somewhat memorable and a lot of not memorable.
Yeah.
And as we get into these, I like to pop myself another,
Let's do
another
this.
cold beer before
What
we
you
get into
got
talking
here?
about these
Let's
people.
get a poll.
This is one that I picked out that is a, is it Weyerbacher or Weyerbacher? I think it depends on which side of the pond you're from. This is their 23 brew, which is a golden stout brewed with cascara coffee, cacao nibs, and a touch of mosaic hops. That's 2 for 2 on the mosaic.
Wow. All right. So
It is.
mosaic hops with coffee. That's interesting.
I'm curious about this. It is also 11.1% ABV, so it is a fucking ass kicker.
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to checking this out. It's got a little like gecko guy, and appropriately enough, it looks like he's kind of in a circus tent kind of scenario.
Aw.
You know, like we might see.
That is a cool label.
Yeah, I'm excited to find out about this. I saw it a few places, and I was tempted, and finally I was like, you know what?
Let us do it.
Let us get a poll. We've
Okay,
had
already didn't expect that color.
No,
I know it said golden, but that is legit golden. I expected it to be more dark.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of that stout that Roger gave us.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh my god, that was awesome.
So
I can't remember who
unexpected,
made it.
yeah.
But yeah, it was like a lighter color, but a very stout, very heavy tasting beer. It was amazing. Hopefully this will be similar. 11%. That is a heavy duty rock and roller right there. Yeah, just looking at it, it is kind of more of a.
It smells
an
like
amber
coffee, though.
It's got shit floating around in it. Does
Oh,
yours?
yeah, it does.
It's got some stuff. I think it's kind of like Orbits, that drink from the late 90s.
Orbit's made of beer.
Yeah, it's an Orbit's beer. It smells very strange. I gotta say, the nose on this thing is very unique. What's that taste like?
Unexpected.
I have no idea what that tastes like.
It tastes almost like, just a little bit, like an Irish coffee.
Yeah, there's a coffee flavor.
And then the alcohol's there. There's a burn of alcohol. Like
Yeah.
that 11%, you can feel it, but it's actually good.
There's also, the aftertaste is almost meaty or iron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Almost like you're tasting like the marinade of the steak or something like that. There's almost this
Wow.
like blood-like aftertaste.
Yes. That is weird.
That's really strange. I don't really know about it. I don't know if it's necessarily something that I like. There's something about it too that's like
I
almost.
feel like it might go well with a steak, honestly.
It probably really
Yeah.
would. There's something in there too that almost reminds me of like the taste of like a chili, like a pepper.
Mhm, a little spiciness to it. Yeah, a little bit on the lips I can feel, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like hot like that damn. What was that beer that we had that was so
Holy
fucking
moly
hot?
2?
Oh my god, that was so good.
That was great.
It's not like spicy, but it has like the flavor of a pepper a little bit.
It does, yeah.
Along with that coffee and stuff. I'm gonna take a few more sips of this as we go and figure out what I think about it. As
Wow.
of now, I'm very confused.
Uh-huh. This does me a confuse.
It has me a confuse for sure, man. So we've got Baby, but we've also got ourselves a cast of a podcasting man.
Yeah,
We've got a guy who does a Nerdist,
that's true. I like,
Chris Hardwick.
yeah, he had some issues recently with being accused of being sexually abusive
I forgot
by Chloe
about
Dykstra.
that. I forgot
And
about that. That did
apparently,
happen.
Everybody was just like, it's been a couple months. It's fine. It's fine.
Under the rug with you.
Yeah, though Chloe Dykstra has said that she never said the stuff that she said to ruin his career.
Yeah.
She didn't want his career to be ruined, and that actually was one of the reasons why AMC brought him back for The Talking Dead. To find out that somebody is or has been a piece of shit in the past is like, what do we do? I don't know. What do we do?
I don't know.
What do we do about it?
Right.
Like, I've talked about it before, like, you know, with Jeepers Creepers, it's like, well, what I'll do about it, that guy is a child molester. He fucked kids.
Yeah.
I'll never watch his movies.
No, I'll
and
never give him
I'll
my
tell
money.
other people he fucks kids if they say that they like that movie.
Yeah.
But with Chris Hardwick and his Chloe Dykstra not really wanting any sort of retribution for anything, it makes me feel like, well, what do I do now? I was never involved in this until I was told about it, and now that I'm told about it, I'm also being told to not do anything about it. But
That's a sticky wicket, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's confusing. Because I've never been like a giant Hardwick fan. Like, I like
Yeah,
the
he's
Nerdist
fine.
because the guests are awesome.
yeah, and actually, he did one of his earliest interviews with Rob Zombie, and they talked about him being cast in this, and it really had to do with Rob Zombie just knowing him from MTV days. But
Yeah, singled out and stuff.
yeah,
right?
I don't know. Like, I'm. I mean, what are you supposed to do about it at that point? Like, he wasn't accused of rape,
Right.
He wasn't, wasn't accused of any major crime, and we're told by the actual victim to not punish him for it. So,
I don't know what to do with that information.
yeah. I mean, I'll continue to not listen to the Nerdist podcast.
I guess so, yeah.
Whatever.
No change.
No change.
Yeah,
Yeah.
net effect 0.
So yeah, if anybody out there wants to tell us what to do, let us know.
Yeah, please let us know. 'Cause we're
I
not
don't
really
know.
sure about it. He's just kind of, I guess he's kind of supposed to be the joke man.
Yeah, well, and this is actually in his period where he was like an alcoholic for a while. And
Oh, yeah.
like he was he was kind of on the comeback here, and I think he was just sort of being over the top Chris Hardwick, because he's not very different from Chris Hardwick.
Right.
Honestly, he's just kind of an asshole, but very similar in some
Right.
ways. Yeah.
We got Dwight from The Office.
Who was actually real great in this.
Rainn
and
Wilson.
Only
He's good.
very briefly.
Yeah, they definitely should not
He's
have killed off his character so
Well, that's
early.
the thing is,
Yeah.
I think because Rob Zombie was like, well, he's the one that's easiest to connect to because he comes off as charming and fun.
Yeah.
And since he didn't want us to care about the kids, you got to get rid of him, right?
Hardwick totally should have been Fish
Yeah,
Boy.
because nobody gives a shit.
Fish Boy.
Yeah, like in normal horror movie beats, he'd be the first to die.
Yeah. That's the thing, dude. There's such a fine line, like what you were saying a second ago about him saying, who cares about the kids? Like, you care about the killers and seeing them do their job and stuff. There's such a fine line, and I can't even tell you what it is. Because when you watch Texas Chainsaw, whenever Franklin gets killed, you're kind of like, finally, good riddance.
Yeah. But you also are like, I hope Sally's okay.
Yeah, and you're watching that family, and you're like, God, man, the Sawyers are fucked up.
Yeah, I don't like them.
No. Like, you're never like rooting for it and be like, yeah, Grandpa hit her with the sledge. Mm-hmm. There's a really fine line there. And meanwhile, it's like a movie like Halloween. You definitely care about Laurie Strode. You want her to get away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
don't know
think
what the line is there. Hills Have Eyes, same way. It's like the family in Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, that's all we care about. It's all we're connected to.
And they're kind of shitty people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the family of the killers, the crazy wild mountain people, you definitely aren't rooting for them because they're horrible, awful people.
Yeah. But it's still, I think, I like that he may have been going for humanizing monsters.
Right.
Basically, like, he knows these monsters well from his own experience. Mm-hmm. And he's not trying to make them less monster. He's trying to make them more by showing you how human they actually are. And then it's even more horrific that they do the things they do. And but that all comes out in Devil's Rejects.
I was gonna say, and he nailed that in Devil's Rejects. Yeah, in Devil's Rejects, it's like there is this sense of how they are fucked up, sadistic, awful, horrible, inhuman people, but at the same time, they care about each other. Mm-hmm. Right? It's like there is this sense of family in that movie where even though they're like bickering and shitty to each other,
they're not going to kill each other, and they'll kill anybody else.
Yeah, and in this movie, I didn't feel that sense of unity. It just kind of felt like a house full of bickering, shitty people.
Yeah, baby and mama have some relationship, but everybody else is just. I think Otis is just
mean to everybody.
Yeah, Otis is he's Manson. Like that's what he comes off as in this. Like in Devil's Rejects, he's more of a developed character, but in this, he's just Manson.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And he really just wants to have control of women, which is a Manson thing.
Right.
And beyond that, doesn't give a shit about anybody else.
And he does an awesome job.
He's so good. Bill Moseley.
He's
been great
awesome.
since Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and that was like one of his earliest film roles.
Yeah.
And he is so crazy in that.
Yeah.
To think that's an early film role. Like, that's the type of thing that if you showed up on a set and didn't have experience and started doing that, most directors would be like, tone it down. But Tobe Hooper was like, fucking go crazy with it. You got a metal plate in your head and you scratch it with a fucking hot coat hanger. I don't give a shit. Go for it.
He was on blow like fucking crazy and was like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
This is the thing. Yeah, Otis in this, man, is just sadistic and evil and shitty and looks like methed out Harley Quinn.
Yeah. That's exactly what he looks like.
It's like he's irritating and mean and shitty, but at the same time, I think he's a very cool character. He's got a great look about him. Yeah, his tone of voice and his vocal rhythms.
Yeah,
and stuff are very unique.
Because Bill Moseley's voice and the way he speaks is just so engaging.
Yeah,
it's like you don't even care that what he's saying is insane. You're still listening to him.
Absolutely so. Sid Haig is also one of the standout characters.
He's so
Captain
good.
Spaulding. The way that he has,
he's so good.
Oh man, dude. He's fucking
so
awesome.
Fucking good.
The way that he has this character where he can seem like so like funny and jovial and appealing, and then turn on a dime.
Yes.
And again, he does that in Devil's Rejects even better when he's like, that stutter bitch. It's like, oh, it gets fucking real.
That's grimy. That's
grimy, dude.
This is grimy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
When that moment, because that's when I think of the word grime, that's what I feel is that just sinking of your stomach where you can't connect with anybody anymore, and you're just like, oh god, this is gross.
Yeah.
And yeah, he nails that.
Yeah. And even just the fact that he's like peddling this fried chicken and he's gross and his makeup is like half faded off and shit. He is awesome.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is like in this movie, even though I don't really like it, there are seeds of characters where you're like, I want to know more about Captain Spaulding. I want to know more about Otis.
Yeah.
Like these are two characters that are very weird and opposite and fucked up and played by guys who I think knew exactly what Rob was going for when he made them. Some of the other characters, I feel like the actors probably didn't get what he was doing or trying to say through them.
Yeah.
Even, is it Karen Black?
Karen Black, yeah.
Like, I don't really think she got it. I think the lady that plays Mama
she gets
Fireplace
replaced.
in Devil's Rejects
Oh my God.
is great.
She's amazing.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
Weird, man.
Yeah.
And in this, I don't really love her character.
No.
I also thought that she was a lady from Best in Show, Stifler's mom.
Yeah, she looks like Stifler's mom in this.
Yeah. And the grandpa in this, who also I thought was somebody else. I thought he was the crazy guy from The Jerk that's like, die, milk face. I thought it was him.
I actually think that he shines in his brief moments. When he stands up with the shit all over his mouth and goes, showtime! And then like cuts to him on stage doing his eating pussy jokes.
Yeah.
And it's just disgusting. It was like, all right, like that's the okay. I want more of this character, but you don't. Most of the time, he's just kind of sitting there.
Right. Yeah. I didn't really like all that stuff. I thought that was just like too like try hard. Like again, like my mom would be pissed if she read this.
Liked it.
Eat your mama's pussy.
I liked it. It was part of the variety show for me. It was like, of course they're gonna have a dance number. Like, of course they're gonna have a stand up. It's a variety show.
In a weird way, it was kind of like Close from Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes.
And I don't know why I give that a pass and don't give this a pass. I don't know why. Maybe because, again, this is just so obviously wearing its influences on its sleeve and trying hard.
I think
I don't know.
because From Dusk Till Dawn is fun from the beginning. And this movie never embraces that it should... Like, this movie should be fun. If he had made this movie... Like, he said that, like, while they were filming, they realized that it was taking on a sort of funny element, and he just let that play.
Yeah.
But if he had been like, no, if we're going to let that play, we need to like signal it from the beginning. We need it to be fun from the beginning. And actually it kind of is. The Captain Spaulding opening parts, they're fun. But then it cuts to the kids and then they go through and that all just is tense and not fun. And it could have been a funnier bit and then it could be funny throughout where it's just like now when it says showtime and there's a show, you're like, yeah, of course that would happen in this moment. Like this is a silly movie.
Also, those Spaulding opening scenes where these robbers come in and try to like rob the place, and then they turn around and kill them. Yeah, none of that shit ever comes back.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
that's again variety show. It's just like this is just a segment. Yeah.
Here's a scene where the people that are the killers are the ones that are being killed,
and we never see the other guy he's talking to again. Remember, like in the front.
Oh yeah.
That's funny, and you never see him again. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if it's ever revealed in this what Spaulding's relationship to the family is.
Yeah, it isn't. Yeah, he's Baby's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, that is totally, completely aping the guy that owns a gas station in TCM.
Oh yeah,
the cook, right?
Yes, it is.
You know, where it's
instead of barbecue, he does fried chicken. Yeah.
Yeah, which
is, I mean. That's a good move. I like a fried chicken.
I prefer a fried chicken to a barbecue, I must say.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you know, it's like in this, he tells him to go out to the tree where Dr. Satan was hung. Mm-hmm. And in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they go out to, you know, the house that they
and in both, he's apprehensive to lead them that way, but then does. And he doesn't look back. Like, the cook doesn't feel bad that he sent the kids to that house. And Captain Spaulding doesn't feel bad that he sent them out there. It's just a thing.
And in both movies in different places, in Texas Chainsaw, obviously, Sally ends up being apprehended by the cook.
Yes.
At the gas station. At the end of this movie,
surprisingly, that's the same thing.
She ends up being picked up by Captain Spaulding, hitchhiking and stuff. It's like, it's just the exact same fucking scenario.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, don't do a damn gas station. Come up with something else. Come on, dude. It's just like, it is too on the nose. Although I like the whole like murder museum aspect.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
I think that was really fun.
Yeah, and it's a good way to deliver exposition about Dr. Satan. Like, you present Albert Fish. First, people who are interested in serial killers know who that is. People who aren't will be like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Then you present Ed Gein. People who know about serial killers, I know this. People who don't know are like, oh, that's interesting. And then Dr. Satan, people who know about serial killers are like, who's this?
Right.
People who don't know are like, who's this? And it's interesting. It's a well done way of presenting the exposition.
Yeah.
That's actually why this movie's so even, is because these opening parts are so well mapped out.
Yeah.
Like, it really does a good job. Like, if Captain Spaulding killing those people then had some meaning throughout the movie,
Totally.
it would work better.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, ultimately in this, considering that the main characters are writing like a book about, attractions across the roadways of America. Yeah, sideshows and stuff like that. That's all the reason that they needed to stop at this murder museum.
Yeah.
The whole, it's a gas station too, is just so obviously to make it like Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, why not just have them stop at this
There
murder
were a
museum? 'Cause it's an
million
attraction.
signs about the museum. That's the only reason they need to stop.
Yeah. And again, like having watched Devil's Rejects first and knowing the connection between Spaulding
it does
and the
ruin
family.
it. Yeah, it ruins it because you see that movie and like all this great completed stuff, and you watch this and it's like, this is just a mishmash of incomplete ideas.
Yeah, exactly. Because whenever you watch this movie on its own, and you're like, now who was that Spaulding guy? Mm-hmm. Who was that actually? I don't know. He was just some unconnected, weird guy.
Not connected at all.
Not
Who just
connected to the
shows up
family whatsoever.
again at the end, and Otis happens to be in his backseat. Does he know Otis is back there?
And it
We
might
don't
just
know.
be a dream.
Exactly.
Like, all that shit might just be a dream.
The raise up of the knife is the end of Friday the 13th part 1, where
Right.
the kid jumps out and raises up his hand and it freezes. Like, it is like, this could be a dream.
Yeah, and it's the end question mark.
Yeah, and that's so stupid.
That's dumb. Yeah.
Yes,
So with this movie, it's the kind of thing where it's like, if you go into this having not seen Devil's Rejects and you don't know Spaulding is related to the family, this just seems like a completely disconnected, well, what the fuck was that storyline? But at the same time, that character is good.
He's a great character. Yeah, I get why you don't dump it. Again, this movie's only like an hour 20 something.
Yeah, something like that.
So it wasn't like they had a lot to cut.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel long. It feels an hour and 30. I'm not saying it feels quick.
Yeah, it doesn't breeze by.
Yeah.
I mean, like that. Considering that this was the same amount of time as that episode of Game of Thrones, this was a big mistake.
Way less action going on in this than the episode of Game of Thrones.
Like, I watched that episode of Thrones, and then about 15 minutes later started this. So it's like, okay, that wasn't really a good appetizer to main course kind of changeover. That was kind of my bad there. I thought it felt kind of slow by comparison, but probably anything would have. Compared to that game.
That's true. Everything moves so quick in that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that probably was a bad on my part. Have you noticed while we were talking about the cast, we didn't talk about either of the female?
Yeah, they're terribly written. They're
abysmally. Yeah.
You couldn't tell them apart if you had to.
No.
The
Like,
only
in
one
my
we
notes-
know is the one with a dad, but we don't know which one that is until like she's the last one surviving, and still I don't know what her name is.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I differentiated between the two in my notes were blonde or brunette.
Yeah.
If I'm reducing you down to what hair color you are,
Yeah, that's bad, right?
you have no character
Right.
whatsoever, man. And that's kind of a common complaint among zombies flicks. The male characters all take the spotlight.
Yeah.
Female characters typically pretty thinly written.
Yeah.
And
Well,
the chicks
and that's
in this
probably
are
why
forgettable.
Lords of Salem doesn't do well, because the main character is a female character, and she's just not that well written.
Right.
Even though, again, as I said, like, I think Sherry Moon does a good job, given that she's the protagonist in that. But it is why people just don't identify with it well, because it's just not a well-written character. And
It's that Stephen King syndrome.
Yeah, I can't think of a good female character in a... Actually, you know what? Laurie Strode, I think in Halloween 2, I think she's pretty strong. I think there's some depth to it. But again, those Halloween movies are very divisive. We'll cover them eventually.
Yeah, we should. I can't believe we haven't done
Well,
Halloween.
we just did Halloween 2 last Halloween, and then we did the new Halloween. We could skip to the Rob Zombie ones and not miss a beat and go back to part 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, because they're unrelated.
Yeah,
Is this the first? This is the first Rob Zombie.
Yeah,
we've
it's our
done.
first Rob Zombie movie.
Huh.
And Rob Zombie beat M. Night Shyamalan. We haven't done an M. Night Shyamalan movie in
That's true.
Or in this podcast.
That's true. Huh. Yeah, so I don't know. The characters in this are kind of hit and miss for me. There's characters that I'm like, yes, I want more of Otis. I want more of Spaulding.
Yeah.
Then other characters where I just could not
Don't
give a
care
fuck
about
less.
Dr. Satan.
No.
Even though it's like, I mean, that's like a cool haunted house moment. Seeing the Dr. Satan and then seeing his assistant with the big axe. Like, that's a cool, like, if you were in a haunted house, you'd be like, whoa, oh shit, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
But in a horror movie, it's just like, like, we were dealing with, like, some sort of real world serial killer family. And now we're in this, like, weird, like, sci-fi, but also there's sort of zombies down there.
Dude, like, that to me, dude, the third act of this movie is
it all
where
falls kind
it's
of
just
apart,
like, god damn, like, the first part of this movie is this very...
It's a pretty good setup.
It's okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing original, but it's a good setup.
No.
You could go original from it. Like, you could take the first act of this movie and then turn it into something different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even look at Cabin in the Woods. Cabin in the Woods is basically the same as this shit.
Exactly. So the immediate setup is fine.
Yeah. Because
it's
it starts...
the fact that it doesn't take it anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, because Cabin in the Woods starts with tropes.
Yes.
And then immediately subverts them. Mm-hmm. And this is like starts with tropes.
And then just keeps them going.
Kind of keeps going with them. You know? So you pretty much know what you're getting into.
It actually says, you know what? Final girls, fuck them.
Yeah.
We don't even need to know about them. Who cares?
Fuck it. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah, like
it
it takes our tropes and says, I don't even care about your tropes.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the generic things and also not make an interesting final girl.
Yep. So it's like kind of the first part of this movie is, yeah, again, kind of that schlocky, kind of funny, kind of crude, kind of grimy sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Second act of this movie, once they get to the house...
Yeah, it all kind of...
It just kind of becomes Texas Chainsaw at that point. You're in this backwoods
with more
farmhouse.
characters involved.
Yeah, backwoods farmhouse, people being tortured by this weird, fucked up family. Mm-hmm. And then third act of the movie, basically after they get buried alive or kind of put down in the well, basically in the coffin, then is just like, okay, I guess there's supernatural shit too. That's where, to me, this is just like, okay, this really jumped the shark at this point. They get lowered down into the well, and there's these like well zombies.
Yeah, that makes no sense because they're under the water.
They're under the water.
Some of the synopses that are read said that they were Dr. Satan's experiments. But it's like, was he doing experiments on how to breathe underwater for an amount of time that would have killed you?
Yeah,
like,
what was he doing?
So yeah, it doesn't make sense.
No, because nothing in the movie has been supernatural. There has been nothing about this. Yes, it's silly and it's over the top, but ultimately, there's nothing that happened that couldn't happen. Mm-hmm. And then once we go underground, it's like, okay, now you're in a haunted house. There's zombies reaching up from the water. There's like a hallway lined with corpses and shit, which does look awesome.
Yeah, look cool.
Again, it looks like a damn haunted house.
It looks like, exactly. It looks like a fucking
great
haunted house. It also, like, when she comes to the door of his, like, operating room, it's like the catacombs in France. Like,
all the
above,
bones
so below.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Very sick.
Yeah.
And even, I'll say, like, whenever she goes in there and there's... Well, okay, there's like some of his, I guess, lobotomized patients sitting there, like eating mush and watching TV.
They had put them in rabbit costumes, and they steal her rabbit costume.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Yeah, and then she's wearing this like Alice in Wonderland kind of
dress.
outfit.
Yeah. It is very much an Alice in Wonderland reference, yes.
Yeah, which white rabbits and stuff too. I guess they're also Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
But I don't know why that would come into effect here. Also in 31, there were people in rabbit costumes. Also in 31, there were people that were dressed as scarecrows that jumped off and got them. It's like, dude, fuck 31. It's just...
Yeah, man,
sorry,
it's a bad
just
movie.
give me flashbacks. Fucking sucks.
It's
so,
a bad movie.
as she goes in there and she sees Dr. Satan, I'll even say, like...
He looked cool.
Yeah, dude. The
looks
character
cool.
design
Yeah.
is sick. He's got all these like mechanical kind of braces on his arms that are kind of helping him do the
Yes.
surgery, and he's got this gas mask kind of thing
What
on.
I think would have
cool.
been better is if instead of having his assistant come out and be the badass with the axe, if he had like raised up Dr. Octopus style and chased her.
That was a
That
problem
would have
for
been
me,
fucking
dude.
cool.
Ultimately, unnamed worm face axe guy.
Who actually, that was a real axe and almost axed the real actress because he couldn't see.
Oh my god, I read about that. We're like, we figured she'd duck.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Bad filmmaking.
That's not cool.
Bad idea.
No.
Liabilities like crazy. But that guy ends up being the big bad. Dr. Satan doesn't do shit. Like Dr. Satan is experimenting on Chris Hardwick.
Yeah.
I guess he kills him.
Yeah,
Kinda
I
like-
assume.
Yeah.
Or he turns them into one of whatever those underwater zombies are, or whatever the other mental patients are, yeah.
But ultimately, the whole like reveal of Dr. Satan is real, and he's also this like inhuman monster, supernatural fucking creature.
Yeah.
It just really felt like the record skipped for
Yeah.
me. And then, like I said, the fact that he has this mutant Axeman that is all fucked up looking and stuff. I'm like, okay, what movie is this now? Like, what movie have I stumbled into?
You'll be surprised to know, Ben, that's not the original ending. The original ending was that Homer was Dr. Satan.
Homer.
Or Homer, not was Homer? What, the old man. What was
Like Grandpa?
Yeah.
Really?
His name was Homer.
I can't
Hugo.
remember. Hugo.
Fuck, Hugo.
Okay,
Sorry.
Hugo.
Hugo was Dr. Satan.
Okay.
Rob Zombie intentionally shot a bad ending to get more money out of Universal to shoot the ending he wanted.
Really?
But the ending that he shot that was bad
Yeah.
actually sounds fine to me. If Hugo turns out to be Dr. Satan and it's all just the family that we've already grown accustomed to be scared of is now like, hey, this is Dr. Satan or whatever. It's like, yeah, okay, cool.
I back that. Well, that also
I don't
goes
want
with
a supernatural being under the ground.
No,
Like,
dude. Like, how do they eat? Like, what's going on under there?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it goes into that whole thing of like, this is why you don't introduce new characters in the third act.
Yes.
Because you're like, well, who the fuck is this now?
Right.
Who are you now?
Like we've been told his name and now we see him.
Also,
But
Dr.
like
Satan.
it was-
It's kind of on the nose.
Dr. Satan is very much on the nose. But apparently Rob Zombie, there was a real person named Dr. Satan who had a billboard in wherever he was from in Massachusetts back in the day. And he now has that billboard in his house.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there was a period of time where Anton LaVey was like on TV and shit.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Anton LaVey plays a part in this. There's the guy who stands in front of Captain Spaulding's with the big head. That's an Anton LaVey looking head.
Oh shit!
And
yeah, it is.
the name of, or the tape that's playing when they lower them down into Dr. Satan's lair is Anton LaVey saying the first line of one of his poems, The Poet, "Bury me in an unnamed grave." And it just keeps repeating that.
And, you know, I will say a few more things about this that it did well.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that the sets and costumes were super sick.
Yes.
The interior of the house
They
looked
really
great.
fucking are. Like, I think not only do all of the characters look like people, like they look like people dressed that way.
Yeah.
But it also conveys how weird and gross they are. And also conveys how normal and regular the kids are.
Yeah.
But also, like, just the house itself, it has a weird vibe to it, but it's nothing over the top until you get to Otis's room.
Yeah.
And Otis is an artist. I said this about The Hitchhiker, and I think Rob Zombie caught the same thing I caught about The Hitchhiker, that he's a serial killing artist. Like, he's killing because there's something in him he wants to express, and the only way he seems to be able to express it is with body parts.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And the only way that Otis seems to be able to express it is by drawing or using body parts to make these new things. And like the walls of his room are just covered in all this insane art. And somebody fucking made that.
Yeah.
Like, that's real and it looks so good. Like it's such a, like, it's weird, obviously, but it looks like somebody really tapped into that mentality of somebody who, like Charles Manson, thinks of themselves as an artist, but they're fucking insane. Like, they're out of their mind.
And there's some like memorable fucked up stuff. Like even whenever they open the shed and there's all the like tortured girls in there.
That's hard to look at.
Open the trunk of the car and I think
There's
one
a
of the
dead
cheerleaders
girl,
has like trick or treat like carved into her skin and stuff.
Yeah.
There's some pretty good gross stuff in here when Sherry like scalps Hardwick. That's pretty fucking nasty.
Not a lot, not many people have survived being scalped.
Yeah.
But there was a guy who survived being scalped by the Comanche tribe, I believe. And he said that it sounded like thunder in his head.
Jesus
Because
Christ.
it just resonates as it's ripping off throughout your skull.
I thought they like killed people before they scalped them. They'd scalp you alive?
They scalped them alive, yeah. They would scalp people alive and then kill them sometimes, yeah.
Jesus.
But the scalping would generally cause people to go into enough shock to pass out. So
damn.
he survived it and heard it. And that scares me every time I see it now. Like, since I heard that story, I think it was a kid I read that story. And every time I see like a Western or something where they scalp somebody, I'm like, I can hear it in my head. Just like, ugh.
Dude, that is fucking brutal.
Ugh.
Yeah, sets, costume, just generally the look of the movie is cool. And even
Yeah.
like I said, those monster designs, even though I'm like, who the fuck are these people?
It looked cool.
They look great.
Yeah.
They have a very like Mad Maxy kind of look about it, especially Dr. Satan. Looks kind of like Emperor, whatever his fucking name is in Fury Road.
Oh, right, yeah.
You know, he kind of has that sort of look about him. Looks awesome. I don't know, man. Like, I don't hate this movie as much as I watched it the first time. Whenever I watched it the first time, I was like, man, I thought this was supposed to be scary.
Yeah.
It's kind of silly.
It wasn't, and we were watching it around the time it came out. So we were in the era.
Yeah.
And it just didn't hit at that time. I think when people look back on it now, they'll be like, yeah, that was different than everything else. So it has some
validity.
Yeah. It's more important than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, but those came out about, I think, the same year, 2003.
I think so, yeah.
And so, like, I don't know. It's not great, but at least he was trying something different. At least he was trying to do something new.
And it's hit and miss.
Which is pay homage to a ton of horror movies.
Yeah,
apparently.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's hit and miss. You know, it's like, to me, ultimately, I would say how this movie feels is as though he was in that meeting that we were talking about, where they were talking about the haunted house. And they're like, I don't know, do you have an idea for a movie? And he was like, oh, I'll tell him the first thing that comes to mind. And then he got home and he's like, they want to give me a movie. This might be my only chance. I gotta
try
tell
it
him
all.
everything I have to say. You know, it'd be like if I had one song to write, and I was like, I don't know, it's gonna be 27 minutes, and it's gonna have country and metal and reggae and blues and
I say scrap all that, make it Toxic by Britney Spears, and leave the office.
The ultimate mutt of a song right there.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean, though? It feels like he just tried to say, this
It
might
really
be
does.
my only chance.
Yeah,
I'm
he
going to
does.
do everything.
And I understand that, actually. I understand that from his perspective of just being like, he had nothing to lose because he had a lucrative career as a musician. So it's like, well, I'll go all the fuck out and try to get all my ideas out there, and maybe people will see it as my aesthetic, as it is. I mean, that is his aesthetic, and want to see more of that.
Right.
Maybe I can't tell the exact story that would bring more and more people in, but they see my aesthetic and they'll want to see more of that.
Right. But for somebody that is clearly so obsessed with Texas Chainsaw and Hills Have Eyes, those are obviously the comparisons this movie draws. It's interesting to me that he seems to have kind of missed the point of a lot of those movies. You know, where it's like...
where you care more about the kids than the family.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and also, too, that in those movies, they rarely ever really show you. Like, there's this kind of, like, awful implied rape scene in Hills Have Eyes.
Right, and that is hard to look at.
Yeah.
But then
it's also
we see
implied.
Otis just going to town on these cheerleaders that he's kidnapped, and that's not fun to watch.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like there's so much implied gore in Texas Chainsaw. Like, there's barely any blood on screen in that movie.
Yeah.
But it's like he was doing it from memory and going, yeah, Texas Chainsaw is brutal.
I remember it being gross.
Yeah, I got to put a lot of gross stuff in this movie, so yeah, I'll do that. So it seems like he's kind of missed the point of a lot of those movies. And
I think actually he would say, because I did in an interview I read, he was talking about his influence from watching late night 60s and 70s TV channels where they would show like Planet of the Apes. And if you didn't see Planet of the Apes then, you wouldn't see Planet of the Apes for 2 or 3 years until it was on TV again.
So it was just in your memory.
It was just in your memory. So he's working off of, I think, an aesthetic that would have worked better in the 80s than it worked in 2003.
Right.
Where, like, in the 80s, everybody would have been like, yeah, I remember those. Whereas in 2003, people are like, I was not alive then.
Right.
Like, I'm 18. I'm going to see a horror movie. I was not alive when whatever aesthetic you're trying to copy existed.
Can't connect with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, too, like with those movies with, again, Hills Have Eyes and Texas Chainsaw, especially in the case of Texas Chainsaw, there's so many times in that movie where what you're seeing is so plainly presented and so unaffected by film filters or excessive set design or anything like that, that like there's times when you're watching Texas Chainsaw that you're like, I guess I'm watching a documentary.
Yes.
Like you can really get lost in that movie and feel like I'm watching some fucked up snuff film.
Yeah. Like
that I should
I'm
be seeing.
just an asshole standing in the corner not doing anything.
Exactly.
Is how you feel. Yes. Yeah.
And in this movie, he's clearly trying to go for that, but at the same time, with all these like smash cuts and shit, where it's like just for no reason in between scene
Flash
by
cut to
scene,
something goofy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we'll get this weird bleached out, faded shot of like centipedes and a guy licking his lips. You know, or like you said, those random scenes where it's like, I'm gonna find that skunk ape.
Yeah.
Or like, hell is here. The devil took me there.
Weird. That one I think is like the easily most cuttable moment of this.
Why
where
the
it's
fuck
like,
is that in here?
That's
Who is that
not
guy?
connected.
What's he talking about?
Nobody knows.
I have no idea what that's about, man. And to me, in this movie, it just keeps reminding you, hey, you're watching a movie. Mm-hmm. It's like there might as well be like just hard stops and title cards being like, relax. This didn't happen. These are actors.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't get too connected because it's not real.
This is fake.
Yeah.
This is a movie. And all those jump cuts, dude, I started keeping a list in this movie. And I'm not even talking about the jump cuts where you see, you know, Otis fucking with these people, or like Sherry Moon like razzling around with a skeleton and stuff like that. Just the totally unrelated jump cuts. There are 13 in this movie. 13 of these where it's just like, well, here's some random shit in between scenes.
Yeah.
It's shit that looks great in a music video. If it's a 3-minute long music video.
Yeah, in a music video where there really is no story necessarily, like you're just being led along by the images.
Yeah, here's
that
imagery.
Works.
Right.
Yeah.
It totally works. But in a movie, it just does that thing where we've talked about. It reminds you that you're watching a movie. This isn't happening. This is fake. This is made by a director.
Yeah, this certainly never scared me.
No, never. Not even once.
There are 2 jump scares in this that I was like... I mean, one of them I think maybe should have stayed is the baby jump scare with Rainn Wilson at the beginning, where it's just like... That kind of initiates the playfulness of maybe like they're not worried about going in because it's a little playful.
Right.
But then later there's a dog jump scare that it's just like...
Come on,
where'd that
man.
fucking dog come from?
Right.
There's no mention of a dog before.
I
Now there's a
forgot
dog.
about that. Yeah, totally out of nowhere. And then just all those ineffective plot lines. I mean, it's like they ultimately call, you know, she calls her dad calls the cops come all the way out there, and then they just get nuked right away.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. There is no like, okay, maybe
That
this
is
whole
good
thing is going to come to
for
a
the
close.
beginning of Devil's Rejects, though.
Yeah,
I
it
know
is.
he didn't intend that, but it was perfect for the setup at the beginning because the
Absolutely
cops
so.
are just like, got to get my fucking revenge.
Yeah, and that's what makes it good.
Yeah.
But in this movie, it's like ultimately there's this threat of like, okay, the cops are coming. Maybe the good guys are going to prevail and help them get out. No, they get scorched like right away.
Immediately, yeah.
So there's no
Nothing.
tension of like, maybe this will fix itself.
Yeah.
No, not really. You know?
Yeah.
And ultimately then it just goes to, like I said, crazy like zombie movie monster shit.
None of that fits with the rest of the tone.
No.
It's very uneven. So
There needed to be somebody saying no on the set of this movie. Like I said, going into it this time knowing that it wasn't just a straight supposed to be horror, scary, fucked up movie, I was able to enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Than
I
first
also
time
think
around.
with some distance from it, I mean, it's been probably 13, 14
Golly,
years since I've seen it.
It's been a while.
Having
for
some
me too.
distance from it and having just, we've had I think a renaissance of great horror movies in the past decade. Having all that happen and these like original ideas like The Witch and It Follows and all that stuff coming out, and then looking at this paying homage to those 70s movies, it's like, oh yeah, that's a cool throwback in 2019.
Right.
In 2003, it's like, well, they've been doing meta horror now for like 5-6 years. Like,
Yeah, there's kind of more interesting things afloat. by
yeah,
this
try to
point,
come
yeah.
up with something new. Like, you're doing meta horror and they're doing remakes. Like, they're all doing homage. Like,
Right.
try to not just pay homage.
Right.
Yeah.
Ultimately, yeah, like I said, there's good things in this. The Devil's Rejects just pays them off all as they needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's like all the characters are much better fleshed out. The direction is much more focused.
Yeah.
This is just obviously very unfocused
Yeah.
and kind of sloppy and feels like three different movies. To me, this, as I said before, this feels like I need to say everything I need to say. This is
Yeah.
my one shot to do it all. And doing it all isn't better than doing one thing
No.
really, really well.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
I don't know that I'll like be in a hurry to watch this again.
No, I can't imagine when I would ever be like, let's throw on House of a Thousand Corpses.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the same time, it's like if I go to somebody's house and this is on, I'm not going to be like, turn this off immediately.
Turn this garbage off.
I will not allow this.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of
Which
bad.
you do at people's houses a lot. Invite Ben over to your house, but
all
don't
the
have a
time.
movie on.
No, I'll
'Cause
shut
he
that
will
thing down.
Yeah.
I'll shut that
What
thing
is
down.
this? Oliver and Company? Fuck that cat and his friends.
I just feel like if I went to somebody's house and they're like, yeah, dude, we're watching House of a Thousand Corpses, I would be like, cool. Like, have you ever seen Texas Chainsaw? Have you ever seen Hills Have Eyes? Like, let's watch those instead.
Have you ever seen Air Bud 2?
Yeah, that's
Check out
better.
Air Bud 2.
Airbud Dose.
That's when he played football, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, it's like I just feel like I would try to encourage people to watch, instead of watch this movie, watch the stuff that influenced this movie,
Yeah.
because it's
You'll get a
way
lot
better.
more out of it.
Way
Way
better.
better.
I think if I'm going to toss this thing a rating on a scale of 10, I think I'm going to hit this with a 4.5.
What?
Below the midline, dude.
Benjamin?
Below the midline. I know.
I actually did not think that this would happen. I'm going to give it a 4. I thought you would be lower
shit.
than me. I think you're right. I mean, we're both right. It is right there in that range where it's like, it's not quite middle of the road good. It's not quite, I want to watch it anytime good, but it's also just like, well, yeah, it's got some goodness to it, creativity, etc. And it does lead to Devil's Rejects, which is a double thumbs up plus. Like,
Yeah, it's great.
but yeah, 4.5. That's where it's at. This is this movie. Like, it's no better than that for sure.
Honest to God, though, I think that the fact that I'm giving this a 4.5 is because I watched 31 last night.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause I
in
just watched it
comparison,
last night, yeah.
In comparison,
I really think
Yeah.
that if we would have done this podcast before I watched 31, I probably would have been like 3.
yeah,
But it's like the fact that I know how just fucking busted and shot Rob Zombie's vision of redneck backwoods torture fucking people can be, because I've watched 31.
yeah.
I think elevated this. The other day I probably would have said 3.
Yeah.
But after having seen just how fucking bad it can get, I'm like, yeah, this is
I would
very
agree with you.
watchable compared to damn 31.
When Emily asked me earlier what I would give it, I said 4.5,
Yeah.
and I said I bet after we talk about it, it could go down or up a little, but that's about right. Like, it's just not middle of the road good. Like, if it's on, I'm okay with just finishing it. Like, if somebody turned on Autopsy of Jane Doe, I'd be like, sure, I'll sit through this.
That's your 5.
That's my 5. It's my middle list of the road. But, with this, it's like, could we try something else?
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
like
something else.
Another movie, maybe?
Yeah.
But if they insisted, I'd watch it.
Right. Right on, man. Well, this will certainly not be the last Bobby Zed movie that we cover here on the show.
That's not. Yeah, there's no way that we stop at House of a Thousand Corpses, because we got Devil's Rejects,
Yeah.
which
the
is awesome.
Halloweens.
We got the Halloweens and 3 from Hell coming out this year, which I I mean, it's the third in the trilogy of House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects. I mean, we saw 31.
God, it's bad.
I really hope that in this one, like, he got some opposing viewpoints. He got some other voices just saying, like,
I hope somebody was there to say no.
Yeah.
I really, really do. So, yeah, we'll find out about that later on here. Now, next week on the show, we've got a very special edition, and this is cool, too, because we've done recorded it.
What? Future Ben and Steve.
We recorded a very special Mother's Day episode.
Mm-hmm, you've heard of them.
With my favorite bad mother in all the world, our best buddy, Lindsay, who is on the show as a very special guest for the first time. Our second ever guest on the show.
Yeah, and she is awesome. Like,
yes,
we don't gush about her in the episode because she's sitting right next to us and she's our friend, and you don't do that about your friends. But Lindsay was the lead singer of a band called Vertigo, which we both really dig. I still listen to pretty regularly.
And also Ono Fiasco, her second band.
Ono Fiasco was her second band, and she's fucking awesome. Like, she's
one of my favorite people in the world.
Not only super talented, but very smart and funny. So the episode is great.
And we're going to be talking about Mother by Darren just
Aronofsky.
And it's kind of up for debate. Is like, is this a horror movie or not? But I found it fucking horrifying.
Yeah, it is horrifying.
It is a fucked up movie.
I think
it's way more fucked up than House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yes, by far.
Way more fucked up.
Way more fucked up.
So we thought this would be a perfect topic to do for Mother's Day, along with Mother of the Year, our good buddy Lindsay.
We voted, but she's Mother of the Year. Yeah.
Absolutely so. So you guys be sure to tune in next week and check that out and hear our thoughts on that very strange and extremely divisive flick. People hate this fucking movie.
They do.
People really hate it.
Which is weird to me. I mean, I'll say that.
Spoilers, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty great movie. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's on Hulu. If you have seen it, maybe check it out again after you listen to the episode. If you didn't like it, maybe you'll find some reason to like it. But if you don't like it, hey, listen to us, because we also talk about things we don't like about it.
There you go.
Yeah, we're not just all about praising that Darren.
Man, fuck you, Darren. Fuck you, man. Noah sucked.
Yeah, I've heard that. I haven't seen it.
Horrible. It's a stupid fucking.
That's the only one of his I haven't seen.
Keep it that way.
Maybe we'll go home and watch The Wrestler.
Maybe that's what you do. For some razzle around a little bit. You guys be sure to rate and review on iTunes, and y'all can follow us all over the social media.
Man, we're all over the place. At Dead Lovely Pod on the Instagram, on the Twitters, Facebook. We got a Dead and Lovely horror movie. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, damn right we do.
We got Patreon. Go check her out.
Links all over all the social medias.
We're on YouTubes. We're all over the place.
We're worldwide.
Hey, let us know if you want to upload our videos to Pornhub, because I'll do it. I don't give a shit.
People watch stuff on there, I guess.
They do, apparently. Some safe for work stuff on Pornhub.
Yeah, that's apparently a thing.
Because apparently Pornhub, unlike YouTube, actually just pays you and doesn't, take your videos off for no reason, because there were like 3 notes that they thought sounded like Imagine.
Right. Yeah. I would like to make money like that.
I would too. I would give a shit.
Pretty cool. Actually, we should probably do that.
Let's just go Pornhub.
Yeah. Let's go ahead.
Let's just do porn.
Find us on Pornhub. Watch our porn. You guys know what to do. Yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to check out next week's episode, Mother, with special guest Lindsay. You guys have just been so fucking wonderful. You're so much better than we deserve. So much better. So kind, so gentle.
Oh,
such wonderful people. Meanwhile, we have been Dead and Lovely.
And we love you.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Run, rabbit. Run.
Hey, girl.
Run, rabbit.
Where are you going?
Run, rabbit.
Dress like a rabbit.
Run, rabbit. Did they say run, rabbit enough goddamn fucking times in that scene?
I hated that.
It just kept cutting to Otis going, run, rabbit, yeah. It's like, we get it. You're white trash. We got it.
They were like, all right, do it again, Otis. Do it again.
More?
Do it again.
More
okay, we're going to use all 4 takes.
More of that. Run, rabbit. Okay, run, rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Run along, rate and review on iTunes.
Bye.
I saw this video clip the other day of this guy who had some kind of like flat boards attached to the bottom of a dirt bike and was like out on the ocean, like basically like riding on top of the water of a crowded beach where there were like people in the surf and in the waves and stuff. And he's riding a dirt bike across the fucking water. If you were out there enjoying your vacation,
That's a party foul. Yeah.
and you hear this revving ass dirt bike,
Oh, Jesus.
that's probably leaving like a trail of oil and gasoline in the water behind it. How mad would you be?
Revving your engine. Not cool. In general, right? It's just not cool.
No.
Yeah. So out here enjoying the ocean. Ah, the sounds. Ooh, wonderful.
Dirt bikes are loud as fuck.
Yeah, they're the worst. I mean, they're not the worst.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're really fucking loud. Yeah.
They're worse than Nazis.
Yeah.
There was a guy that rode a dirt bike where he had like cut the muffler off and all that stuff. I mean, I'm talking like 140 dB loud, just unreal. And he would
How
go
much
down.
attention do you need?
Oh,
really?
my God. How small can your penis get?
Yeah.
You know? But he would ride this dirt bike down the street that I lived on when I was a kid at like 80 miles an hour.
Jesus.
Insane.
Yeah.
And then we found out that he got in a wreck. He hit a stop sign.
Mm-hmm.
It decapitated him.
How's he doing?
He's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's hanging in there.
Yeah. He's probably stopped riding that dirt bike.
Oh, yeah, he's done with the dirt bike.
Done with the dirt bike.
That's over.
Started
Also,
a dirt nap.
it goes to show you, helmet laws, they don't always save you. Yeah,
Man, I'll tell you
helmet
what, in California, like, bikers can split lanes. Like,
Oh,
they
I
can-
hate that.
It's
Oh,
so scary.
You're gonna die. It makes me so nervous to see
Yeah.
that shit. And guys like going down the road, like doing wheelies and stuff.
Oh, God.
You just want to die.
Right.
You want to die.
Hey, okay, here's what I think they think is going to happen. They'll do that wheelie, and then a girl is going to follow them somewhere and then be like, oh, my God.
When you did that
What?
wheelie,
Yeah.
it aroused
And
me.
I say girl because there's no woman in their mind. They're looking for a girl.
Out for a girl.
They're
Got it.
looking for a girl. A woman is their mom.
Gross, dude.
Yeah. No, I want like a 15-year-old. But that's what they really think. Like, she's going to be like, wow,
It's pretty hot.
you got good balance, I guess.
You got good upstand.
Wow.
Let's see how your upstand is off that bike.
And he'd be like, hey, let's just pay more attention to the bike, all right?
More
you look
about
at the bike.
wheelie, please. A little more.
Wheelie, this is like my erect penis, guys. See it?
It's tall. It's very close to vertical.
Very close. It's like dangerous how big it is.
It's scalding hot.
Like a dick should be.
People like that, I think. Very loud. Extremely loud. The emissions are
You ready for a scalding hot dick?
scalding hot boner. Ouch.
No one would ever be turned on by that.
Dude, you stick this thing in, it sizzles.
Oh, it's like sleepaway camp.
Yeah, it's like sleepaway camp. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.